topic is, was Kevin Samuels disloyal to the race he divided? Yeah, no one's asking that, which is really strange because on the YouTube streets, we're pretty obsessed with race, right? We're always calling out people for being racist or anti-black or anti-this or anti-that, anti-you, anti-me, right? All day long, that is what we do in the YouTube streets. Race is a big deal in the YouTube streets. So I'm just a little surprised that no one's bringing it up regarding Kevin Samuels falling dead into the arms of his preference. No one's talking about it. What's going on? I'm surprised because otherwise you guys have a lot to say about race, but no one's mentioning this. So I said, I'll do it since no one else is doing it. So again, mi gente, welcome to On The Block with Jen, On The Block with Jen on Instagram and On The Block with Jen at Gmail. Please do not email with no bullshit, okay? Email me with some business or collab, a useful collab, okay? If you got 2 subscribers, respectfully, I shall decline. I know everybody got to start somewhere, but you know, there's levels to this shit. So if you want to collab or you want me to dissect the subject that you're afraid to do on your channel, let me know. I will do it here. Or if there's some business venture you think me and you would be good with, let me know. With that said, a lot of you got a lot of whack ideas, all right? So run them by other people before you run them by me, all right? Okay, so tonight's subject is something I'm surprised hasn't come up, right? R.I.P. to y'all godfather. That's what y'all called him. So I'm calling y'all godfather. I didn't consider him a godfather, but some of you did, right? So R.I.P. to the godfather. It is official. Like I said on the other one, yes, the man is gone, as in the heart's not beating no more, okay? As in he's not sharing oxygen amongst us, as in he will no longer do a live stream, right? But he left quite a legacy. And I wanted to dissect this because you guys, a lot of you are obsessed with race on YouTube. So I'm surprised. And, you know, preferences and colorism and what have you, right? So I'm surprised no one's brought this up, that Kevin Samuels took his last breath with Lolita Mamita from Mexico, right? Hortensia Alcantara, right? I do have the 911 call. If you guys have not heard it, I will play it for you. According to Hortensia Alcantara, the woman that made the 911 call after Kevin Samuels collapsed on her, okay? She's a registered nurse. That's the word out on the street. Have we seen credentials? No. Does she owe us credentials? No. Right? But, you know, according to her, she's a registered nurse. We have no proof of it, whatever. She could be a home health aide for all we fucking know. Or she could be the lady that ties the rubber band around, you know, your arm when you're getting your blood drawn. I don't know. I don't care. She's a nurse. I heard the 911 call. I found her a bit hysterical. For my taste, if I was dying, I don't know if she's the one I'd want in the room conducting the CPR, because it sounded like she didn't know what she was doing. She was hysterical. I like my medical professionals a little more even keeled and in control of the situation, because if I'm dying and you're panicking, I'm probably going to die, right? Not saying it was her fault, right? Not saying she could have saved him. We haven't got the coroner's report or the medical examiner's report or the autopsy. We don't know what was wrong, okay, with y'all godfather. We don't know what was physically wrong with y'all godfather. So we can't blame anybody or say that she could have done more, yay or nay. We do not know, right? I'm just saying, I heard the 911 call. She was hella hysterical. And if I was in a situation and my medical professional is hysterical, I'm going to be hysterical. Luckily enough, the 911 operator was very, very, very cool and tried to calm her down. Of course, to no avail, because Kevin Samuels died anyway. But I thought the 911 caller deserved some kudos because she kept her cool, but that is their job, right? So I got the what happened to one? You spelled BM wrong, Kevin. Okay. All right, I got the 911 call. I'm going to play it for you guys. You probably, if you guys are running around the YouTube streets, you probably heard this already. I thought it was really interesting, okay? And you know me, I'm going to say some things that are going to sound really, really cruel, but it's just probably something that you thought of as well. You were just too chicken shit to say it. I'm going to say it for you, right? So I thought it was interesting I saw it on the Star Report. He posted it. That's where I heard it first. I didn't even know this thing was going to be released so soon, but people are on it. My goodness, I thought this was going to take weeks to be released. I mean, there are like freaking, mass murders that go on, and we don't hear the 911 calls till weeks later. These people drop, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like within days, which I thought was very, very interesting. But money talks. Follow the money. If you got money, you get anything dropped, or you know what I mean, held back whenever you like. Yeah. So let me run. So this is a 911 call. I'm gonna play it for you guys. Sorry, no, I don't got the fancy slide the screen on the thing. I didn't have time to do that. You guys can hear it from my phone, and you can't hear it from my phone, then go to the Star Report and look at it there. Okay. So I'm going to play it for you guys. I thought it was very interesting. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. It is muffled. It is a 911 call. She's not on a studio mic. She's on her phone. So let me know if you guys can hear this. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's about 10 minutes long of her screeching and squealing and being hysterical. Y'all don't need all that. I'm just going to play a little bit for y'all. You tell me if you can hear it. Hopefully my sound.
Okay. Hello, ma'am. Take a deep breath. And what's the address of your? I'm not sure. Give me 1 second. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm not sure. Oh my God. Hold on. Okay. You need to come to. It's the residence. It's please just come down. It's Kevin Daniels. You need to come, ma'am. Take a deep breath. 731. What is the street name? It is 297 East Paces Ferry Road, Northeast. Okay, is it the house or apartment? Oh my God, I fucking know. You don't know if it's the house or apartment? Oh, it's an apartment. Okay, what's the apartment number? No. I just need to give him CR, please. You need an ambulance? Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, listen, hold on. Let me connect with the ambulance. Do not hang up. Are you listening? Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance. It's Kevin fucking Samuel. I understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there because, like I said, it's almost 10 minutes long. I'm not holding my phone for 10 minutes. Okay. So you got to hear a little bit about what I was talking about. She is hysterical. She is out of breath. It sounds like fucking breathing to me. I don't know about you, but it sounds very orgasmic to me. So I don't know if they were in the middle of something perhaps, or maybe just finished doing something perhaps. But she was, she was very breathy and like, I don't know if it's an apartment. I don't know if the 911 operator is very, very cool. Is this an apartment? Are you in a house? I don't know where I am. I don't know what it is. 911 operator, what's the address? I don't know. I just got here last night. It's Kevin Samuels. It's Kevin fucking Samuels. I would guess that a lot of people think that Kevin Samuels was more popular than he was. I don't know why she said to the 911 operator in that way. It's Kevin fucking Samuels. Like, hello, don't you know Kobe Bryant? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I thought that was a bit silly. But if this woman was in groupie mode, then she's probably thinking, oh my God, I'm here with Kevin fucking Samuels, as she said. And everyone should know, including the 911 operator, right? Which I thought was a bit silly. But again, the woman was hysterical. She was probably mid-fucking, finish-fucking, or pre-fucking the night before. I don't know. She was a little breathy, I think, right? And we all know how we sound like that, ladies, what's going on when we sound like that. But maybe that's just how she sounds when she's nervous, which is interesting, right? Very interesting. But, she was like, I don't know where I am. It's an apartment. I don't know where let me go look at the apartment. I just came here with this man last night. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's Kevin fucking Samuels. Help me. Right. So, hey, if I was a 911 operator, I would have been annoyed as well. The 911 operator did sound a little annoyed, but she was able to, I felt, stabilize the phone call. Again, unfortunately for everybody who's involved with that situation, who cares about Kevin Samuels, they lost him, right? He wasn't able to be revived or saved. So whatever happened, right? Now, Miss Hortensia Alcantara, little Mexican miss, okay? Very pretty, very cute. She's cute, right? I gotta give credit where it's due. She is cute, right? There's so many rumors floating around. You know, Kevin Samuels' friends are like, he flew and she flew in because that's how the Kappas do. They don't fly in the pussy. The pussy flies in itself. You know what I mean? So they're claiming that. But the chick lives in Atlanta and he was found in Atlanta. So why would she fly into somewhere she lives, right? So it's like pass the tomato, right? Pásalo, 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 pásalo. Everybody, by the time the rumors get out, you know, this woman's going to be a man with a dick growing out of her ass. We don't know, right? So many rumors going on. But according to her, she's a registered nurse. And according to her, she met the man the night prior, spent the night, wink, wink. And then the next day, he keeled over on her. Now, what he was doing when he keeled over on her, we don't know. Only she knows, right? And the gods or demons that were in the room at said time. Now, since then, Miss Hortensia Alcantara has been very hostile. Okay, she's telling the people on her Instagram, leave me and my family the fuck alone. Y'all are weird. And I quote, that is what she's saying. Y'all are weird. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop coming at me with this shit. Leave me alone. Okay. So I guess she's getting attention that she doesn't want. But you know, our experience with women like this is at first they try to act like they try to detach themselves from being clout chasers or gold diggers or what have you. She's like, I'm a 6-figure normal woman, right? She said, why would I need a one night stand? I don't know what a tax bracket has to do with a fucking one night stand. I'm sure poor people and rich people like and enjoy one night stands. I don't know what that had to do with it, but I think she had to put that out there because 6 figures, you know, that phrase has been coined. It's part of our culture now. It's like 6 figures, as unrealistic as it is for the average person. It's like 6 figures has been the thing. So I guess she felt like if she put that out there, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm 6 figures, respect me. I don't need a one night stand. I don't know what that had to do with it. 6 figures does not remove your vagina, ma'am. It does not remove your vagina or your wants, your needs, or desires to be with somebody you feel has, I don't know, some sort of fame, right? So now she's really pissed off. But again, going back to what I said, my experience with these type of women is they try to act holier than thou in the beginning, give them a couple months, then the book is coming and the interviews are coming, right? And all that shit happens. But initially it's like, I didn't need this. And then a couple months later, we know how this shit works. Okay. The books come out, the interviews come out. She's on Mona Scott Young's Next Love in Hip Hop. We know how this shit works, okay? All right. So don't be surprised if this isn't the last you've heard of Miss Little Hortensia Alcantara. This is going to be an open panel tonight. So after I talk my shit, you guys are more than welcome to come up and fucking butt, okay? I'm sure you'll have all the pushback from me in the world, which is fine. I welcome all of it, okay? So going back to the topic, was Kevin Samuels disloyal to the race he divided? I think this is very important for us to dissect because not only just picking on Kevin Samuels, right? But a lot of these content creators are very, very divisive, specifically with Black and Latin women, right? Black men tend to, not all, right? Some. Black men tend to have a preference, right? It's no secret. It's usually the lighter skinned girl with the long hair, the spicy Latina, or the white Beckys, right? They have their preferences. And what they do is because they have a certain sort of disdain for Black women or they hate their mamas, whatever you want to, whatever umbrella it falls under for you, they usually pit us against each other, right? That is what they do. A lot of people are so dumb and triggered by their own trauma that they fall right into it, right? So Kevin Samuels, from what I'm hearing from you guys, was pushing Black marriage and Black, Black marriage and Black couples and Black families, right? And what these guys do is they will incense their audience, right? They'll bash Black women all day. And I know what you guys are thinking, but he bashed Black men too. But we know he was infamous for bashing Black women. He was weaponized against Black women. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's not play stupid just for shits and giggles. We know what it is. I know he also talked about men, but men weren't weaponizing men against men. They were weaponizing what he was saying about women against Black women specifically. Let's not play stupid. I like having adult talk every now and then. I like the giggles, But let's have some adult talk every now and then. So I just find it a little surprising that a man that's hell bent on telling people what black women should do, see, read, weigh, not degrees they should have or shouldn't have, how they shouldn't be masculine or feminine, should they have an ass or no ass, should they have real hair or no real hair. Just a little tiny surprise that his final moments were not with a black woman at all. His final moments were with a woman that would be his preference, right? That word again is so it's become his preference, right? We've heard that word in the YouTube streets. So I find it interesting, mi gente, right? That he'll cause all this division and this ruckus and this gender war between black men and black women and what black women should expect and what black men should expect and not put up with and blah, 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 right? It's all entertainment, according to some people. According to some other people, he was the light, the Messiah, and he was freeing them from the bondage of not having a space to say what they really wanted to say, right? Depending on what vantage point you have, this man was so many different things for so many different people, right? So I just find it interesting that all this division is caused by not only him, but a lot of content creators regarding Latin and blacks and what have you. And if you guys know eBlack TV, we're supposed to be doing a show on black and brown unity very, very soon. So look out for that, eBlack TV. Follow that man as well, because you'll see me over there talking about the history of black and brown unity. Anyway, back to Kevin Samuels. So I find it a little interesting, like I said, for maybe the fourth, fifth time, that is interesting to me. That's someone that created so much division between the genders, whether you want to agree with it or not. You saw the chats, okay? You see the rooms, you see the debates, you know that his content caused mucho division. Let's not play dumb here, mi gente, okay? Caused mucho division. We're here, it is what it is. Now, I would expect for a black man that is so hell-bent, right, on what should be going on in the community, got caught with a white Tina, which is what I call them. The white Tinas, right? There's Afro Latinas and then there's the white Tinas, right? So I'm very surprised that he got caught with a white Tina, which is basically a Caucasian woman who speaks Spanish, right? I speak Spanish too. Yo hablo español, por supuesto, right? But I find it interesting that the most divisive people I've run into regarding the black community, right, have themselves a little preference in their back pocket. I've had my run-ins with a couple of clowns and, in my small network of people, right, where people try to come at me about, you anti-black, you racist, and then, who are you married to, sir? A white Tina, right? So you're probably more racist than I am. No, but my first baby mama was black, and my second wife was black. Who are you with now, sir? Who are you with now? What country did you go to? So you can get the person you're with now, which is more than likely a white Tina, which is as close as you can get to a white person without being a white person, but she speaks Spanish, right? Let's not play dumb here. So yes, I did find that very interesting. I was like, wait a minute. Now the guys, they're all in, right? The guys are all in. Oh, look who he got caught with. Yeah, she was a dime. She was this. She was that. She was this. So if that's your preference, I don't see why the fuck you care so much about what black women are doing and not doing. Right? That is why I'm here. And I know a lot of you are thinking that, why is she talking about it? The Latina always talking about the black community. What the fuck is she doing? The black community is also my community, whether you like it or not. And I know it's hard to chew and swallow, but you really should try, because the black community is my community as well. My entire family, my entire friends, my network growing up from very, very little girl in the Bronx, New York, it was black and Latin. I speak about Latin people. If you want to hear me talk about J-Lo, there's a video on that somewhere on my page. I've talked about the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico. I talk about everything and everybody. No one is beyond reproach. And I know a lot of you are thinking, you can't talk about, no one is beyond reproach. So I suggest you hit subscribe on my page and a like right now and rock with me, okay? Rock with me, because no one is beyond reproach. And that's something you're going to learn on this channel. So again, welcome if you're here for the first time. So I want to discuss this Kevin Samuels, disloyal to the race he divided. right? Because he did divide the genders, whether you like it or not. Now, I know there's rumors that he got some people married. I haven't seen them yet, right? And we all know that Kevin Samuels was on his way to rearranging his brand, because there's only so many times you can tell a Black woman she's overweight and undesirable. After a while, your subscribers and your views will plateau. Okay, they will plateau. So what he was trying to do was get more involved with the entertainment industry, hence the back and forth with Nicki Minaj, hence the interview with Future. He was trying to expand, right? I do hear he's in an upcoming episode of Atlanta. I think Haran informed me of that. So he was on his way to rearrange his brand, right? Because there's only but so far, believe it or not, that YouTube can take you bashing the same demographic over and over again. Unless you are insane, you're going to get tired of hearing it, even if it was entertaining at first, right? And I myself found Kevin Samuels entertaining in pockets. But I'm a New Yorker, baby. I know a con when I see one, and I know a hustle when I see one. And people of color, right? We are very damaged people. We have PTSD that's never treated. We have mental illnesses that are never treated. We don't seek therapy. We think therapy is something white people do. A lot of us are broken homes. You know our story, right? Preaching to the choir here. So, I know what he's doing. It's very easy to play Pied Piper with people that are broken, right? But again, some people swear by him. No, he set us free. And that's fine. See him however you want to see him. I'm just still stuck on why create so much division amongst Black men and Black women if you're not even checking for Black women, because Hortensia Alcantara is very, very Mexican. And she thinks people that are coming after her are weird. Okay, she wants to be left alone. Okay, so I want to know. I'm going to exactly. Louis Vendrell just said fuck therapy, right? That is how most of us think where we're from, right? Because we're tough, we could put up with anything, right? Big mistake, huge. So I'm going to drop the link. Y'all coming up here and tell me what y'all think about what I said. If I'm not too familiar with you, I may not let you up. Oh, Doctrine me, amor, how are you? I'm not going. I may be iffy about letting you up because there's too many snakes in the grass on YouTube. Okay, but I'll give you a couple minutes. What's up, AJ? And Alicia, mi amor, I haven't seen you in so long. Where you been, baby? We have to do another run, me, you, and Tawana G. We gotta give the people what they asking for, and Alicia. We gotta give the people what they asking for. They like us together. They like us together. Okay. Oh, and there's gonna be a lot of freaks in my chat. You could time them out. You don't have to block them. Just time them out. Give them a little slap on the hand so they know to calm down. Okay, I have Haran DeMarco backstage. I see you, Tristan. What's up, Morena Reyes? Beautiful lady, how are you? Good to see all of you in here. Welcome. Oh my God. Super chat break. Luis Vendrell says he passed from the Crita Sucia. Hey, my goodness. Now I know what a sucia is, Luis. Crita, I don't know. You're gonna have to help me out with that one. But I speak a Spanish, but I don't know what Crita is. Okay. I know sucia. I don't know Crita. Okay. And if you want to elaborate on what that is with another super chat, I'm here for it. Okay. Okay. Did someone just say with the good hits? Who said y'all talking down there? Tristan said she was a Build-A-Bear. She was. She had the traditional BBL that they all get, that the men go crazy for. These men's out here, they love them some BBL. They love them some BBL ass. Krita is what? Oh, Krita is pussy. Okay, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day, even though I speak a Spanish. Welcome up to the panel, Haran DeMarco and Tristan.
What's poppin'?
Hello.
What's poppin'? But some of my favorite gentlemen are here tonight. How are you, fellas?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. She chose violence today.
Tristan, I knew. I listen.
The
I was like,
default setting, sir. It's the default setting, sir.
It, it,
It shouldn't even be an option. It shouldn't even be on green. It should
it
just
is.
it's just
It's like factory reset.
exactly exactly.
oh, I love this. I love this. See, Annalise always coming through. Forget BBL's therapy is the real flex. Because I guarantee if a lot of those women got therapy and good therapy, they would not be ballooning themselves up to ridiculous proportions because it looks ridiculous. Come on. If we're completely honest, fellas. Looks a little ridiculous. Okay. Little-
For certain women, it looks absolutely cartoonish. Looks absolutely cartoonish.
But you know what? They monetize it, right? And that's why they keep doing it. Because a lot of men say, I don't like that. It looks corny, it looks cartoonish. But these heifers have 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 10 million followers, and they're able to monetize that BBL. So I don't know how much they go for, but let's just say I'm gonna throw a number out there. They spend I don't know, 25, 30, 35, 40, $50,000 on a BBL. And I could be way off the mark here. But if you could monetize that to now it's like, look, the flat tummy tea. You know, it's like they're going to continue doing it. So I think it's gone beyond now trying to be appealing to men. Like these heifers are monetizing now. So
Well,
like,
absolutely. I actually said this to someone the other day. What I noticed is that I've seen a number of women call themselves fitness instructors, and all they really did was get like a BBL and a waist trainer. They didn't even go to the gym. They did they you could just see. I mean, you could see the slim waist, but the arm is just like still a ham hock. It's still huge, and it's just like it just looks weird. This looks just absolutely weird. But in reference to your question, Jen, I just want to say, look, when it was found out that the woman in question, and when they showed her before I saw the woman, I'll be honest, man, I was just happy it wasn't a fat white woman. I'm just really just
I was praying for it, to be honest.
I
you
For
know
was
it.
he was
just
gonna get
happy.
dragged. You know he was
I
gonna get dragged straight out of that
I was
grave.
just happy it wasn't a fat white woman. You know what I mean? We just didn't need for him to go out
No,
in a cloud of stereotypes.
he would
But
have dragged in that body bag. He would have got dragged too. If it was a fat white woman, he would have got dragged. Okay.
but I will say that say, look, man, she's a cute little thickie.
Uh huh.
He most likely died with an erection under high off of cocaine and Viagra. With that woman sweating on him, hey, that's a way to go, man. If that's a high value way, like you gotta go. I mean, hey,
A high value death. That is a high value death.
hey, look, man, like, look, there are plenty of horrible ways for a black man to go. That that, that is not one of them. But anyway, I think that he betrayed the community in so many more ways than just his preference. Like, look, I'm not going to get into that. You know, what I mean,
That's why we here, Haran. That's why we
no, 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 no. I'm going to get into other reasons why I think that he betrayed the community. You know,
got
what I
you.
mean, I don't think it's just because like, oh, he got caught with a Spanish woman. He betrayed the community. No, I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I have some issues with, what I mean, how he handled some things, and in many ways, I think he sold out the community. Uh, long before we could have these discussions about what his preference was, and so on and so forth. I'll do that later. Just to
Okay.
let you know. I'm just waiting for you to talk. Unless you
No,
want me to explain
I
this now.
thought I lost you. I thought I lost the audio.
No, 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 no. Let me just explain this now. One of the things that I did have a huge problem with was that, okay, you had all these heavy critiques for black men. It didn't pop. Then you had heavy critiques for black women. It skyrocketed. But in both instances, you did not provide a series of suggestions, a game plan. You didn't really help anybody. A coach is supposed to say, hey, these are your particular problems. Any idiot can point out, an issue or a problem. Any person can point to a burning building. You know what I mean? Are you a firefighter though? Well, if you're not a firefighter, then call 911 and get the fuck out of the way. You know what I mean? You're not equipped to handle that problem. Do I think that he was equipped to handle the problems in the community? Absolutely not. I thought he was equipped to handle the problems that Kevin Samuels was having. You know what I mean?
Not even then before he blew up, because he was way behind on his child support, twice divorced. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, you get divorced is, it makes you a bad person. But as far as an expert on relationships, I don't know. As far as an expert on parenting, I don't know if you were yourself, sir, behind on child support. I'm just saying, some people should just glass houses, right? Is what I'm saying. And I'm glad that you brought up that he tried different gimmicks up until the average at best blew up. And that's what people don't understand. Well, he talks about black men too. That didn't pop for him. The cologne didn't pop for him. No one wanted to hear how he put a suit together, sir, ma'am. What popped for him was average at best. Can we all just fucking agree? That is what popped.
See, here's the thing. He also.
Oh, wait, let me hold up. Cash app break from C app. So the same clown chick, i.e. you, I guess he means the man, who thought it was a hoax now gets to run her mouth again, huh? To answer your question in short, yes. Thank you for the super chat. Go ahead, Haran.
But I just want to propose a question.
Okay.
Do you think any man in his situation, or any black man who dates outside of his race, betrays his race, but do we have the same smoke for black women who date outside of their race?
Ooh, sizzle. I like that. I will say this. I don't think a black man who dates outside of his race is betraying his race. I just don't think he gets to pull the pro-black card. My opinion.
Okay.
My opinion. I know a lot of people fight me on it. I could be pro-black, be married to a white woman. I vehemently disagree, sir. I disagree, sir. I do not see it. Okay. I do not see it. I just can't. When you are, I said this about that director, I forgot his name. He's always putting out some sort of movie. The director that did Birth of a Nation. He's always putting out some sort of a rebellion movie, and the white people always win at the end. Nate Parker. The white people always win at the end, right? And I think it's hard to be pro-black when if you're married, if you're laying with a Caucasian woman or man, you have to consider that Caucasian or woman or man's feelings and emotions. And if you have children together, even more so. So I don't get I'm pro-black. I've run into that here in these damn YouTube streets. So it's like, you anti this. I'm like, sir, does a white woman not crack her legs for you? Does a white woman right now have a ring on her finger, cracks her legs for you? Then don't talk to me about race, right? So I do feel that Kevin Samuels betrayed his race because he caused division, monetized that division, and then gets caught with Mexico, right? So in that way, I feel like he did. Again, people may disagree, but this is my observation. It is not gospel. You don't have to get it tattooed on your ass, but that is what On the Block with Jen thinks, right? So in that way, I feel like he did because he left them out to dry. He caused this division, had no solutions other than very harsh critique and beratement, right? And then stood back, collected the check, sat up in his white ivory tower, and did one better. His preference was a Latina chick, a white Latina chick, to be exact. So that is, to me, betrayal. How can I come and beat on you, right? Because you're you, right? And I want you to do better, and I'm over here sliding off with the opposite of you. Can I really be loyal to you if that is what I'm doing?
I will say this. He, at the end of the day, I saw Kevin Samuels as an entertainer. Just like I see politicians as entertainers. There's been many heavy, Republicans. Yes, I do. I see Republicans, I took a number of speech courses and speech writing courses. A lot of the techniques that these people use, I'll talk to you about, afterwards, anyway. But you have Republicans who are heavily behind anti-gay laws, and these dudes get caught, in very compromising positions. You always hear it. It's become cliche. And am I always shocked when that happens? No, because at the end of the day, these guys, these people out here, they're entertainers. They'll say anything for the bag. Kevin Samuels proved to me a long time ago that he will say and do anything for the bag because I watched him before. You know what I mean? It's a different thing when you see somebody, when you're just kind of familiar with someone who you know what I mean, on the tail end or on the second close to third act of their scene. You don't really know what's happening. But when you really saw the whole thing happen kind of from the beginning, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the cologne guy, that's the perfume guy. And when I saw what he became, complete antithesis. But I knew that before that, you know, I mean, when I saw him doing what he was doing, still was about $1. He was about $1, smart guy. He found a hustle. He found a pocket, and he milked that pocket. Because guess what? You gotta look at it like this. He didn't provide tangible solutions. Why would he provide tangible solutions? And because providing tangible solutions mean providing somewhat of a cure, then you won't come back.
Ah.
You know what I mean? So he has to keep the people
Again,
sick.
if I cure you and I give you an actual solution or resolve, you don't need me no more.
No, you know what I mean? So he wasn't really trying to help the community. You know what I mean? He was trying to get a buck off of it. But I will say this, you know, when he was harsh on black men didn't like lose their minds and share his stuff. You know what I mean? And like just really just lose their shit. When he began to, critique black women, they were the ones who promoted his stuff. And they were the ones who screamed loud. You know what I mean? Brothers didn't really do anything. But sit back and enjoy the anger that a lot of these black women were having. So he knew where to set his sights on. Still a very smart guy, but outside of that, I knew he was full of shit. I knew he was full of shit the moment he sat down with what's that chick Brittany Renner.
Brittany.
When he was sitting down with Brittany Renner, and I saw the twinkle in his eyes when he was sitting down with Brittany Renner.
And wouldn't Brittany Renner also be considered a preference, right?
Well, I guess so. I mean, she's still a nice looking woman. Yeah, it's got got a nice looking body and so on and so forth. Look, I did. But anyway, look, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna act like anyone's ugly if they're not. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
So let me say this though. I have a teeny tiny
pushback. But wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. When he was talking with her and I saw the way he was interacting with her, I was like, yeah, you see, this is a guy who secretly is just, he understands that had he not been Kevin Samuels, he would never been sitting across from this woman right now and having this conversation. Right. You know what I mean? He comes from, he wasn't having options like that before, and when he became Kevin Samuels, for what it's worth, he exercised his options. One of those being a spicy Mexican woman who dropped the ball during a 911 call. You know what I mean? That can't be him. That cannot be him.
That's one ugly man, son.
That's him. Jesus People Christ. Don't understand that he did a whole makeover, got a nose job.
That's not a makeover. That's not a makeover, child. Ma'am, that's not a makeover. That is the arms of Christ putting his hands on that man's head and him magically becoming someone else. That has to be photoshopped.
Glow up. That's what we ladies call it, the glow up. I have Ruled by Venus backstage. Ruled by Venus, welcome. What say you?
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Really good. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to speak, if it's okay, to the gentleman talking, because he's repeating something I've been hearing a lot, and I think it's very dangerous. Okay. So the whole is just entertainment argument, right?
I was going to address that, but go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
Do you let your kids watch any and everything because it's entertainment, or do you monitor what they can and can't watch?
First, I'd like to correct something. I didn't say it's just entertainment. I said it is entertainment.
Okay.
I have the discernment to say that, oh, this guy's an entertainer. And but guess what? That has absolutely nothing with me saying, okay, I agree with his message, or if his message isn't harmful. No, there's things that I do, monitor, my child from watching, so on and so forth, and I can say that, yeah, this is entertainment, but that's not for her, her age group. That's not for her. She's not ready to experience that.
But the reason you monitor what your child watches because you understand that she doesn't yet have the discernment to differentiate between what's entertainment and what's reality, right?
Absolutely.
So when you say things like it's just entertainment, we have to understand.
I didn't say
I'm
it's
sorry
just
that
entertainment.
you view that it is entertainment. This is
Right.
a talking point I've been hearing a lot, right?
Okay.
To a lot of the men and boys who follow that rhetoric, they do not understand that, and that is why he was dangerous.
Okay. I can agree to that, but that's on them. There's a
Well,
ton of people.
when
There's a
people
ton of
like you
people.
force it, it's on everybody because then the black women, I'm a black woman, are trying to
Okay.
say like, hey, guys, this is dangerous, danger, and then we have men like you who have the discernment and will still say, well, I just view it as entertainment. And when you do that, you're like diminishing the fact that no, this is actually dangerous.
Are you done?
Yeah.
No, when again, I did not say that it's just entertainment. Did not downplay it. I said that I look at him as an entertainer, just like I look at politicians as entertainers. Again, I have the discernment to say, hey, this is what this is. This is what that is. Now I have that discernment. I cannot control the fact that a lot of these people, don't have that discernment. That's number one. Number two, as I've said before, a predator is a constant. And as long as there's prey and as long as there's people willing to get sucked in, a predator is going to do what a predator does. If it's not going to be Kevin Samuels, it's going to be someone else. It's going to be Rush Limbaugh. It's going to be Donald Trump. It's going to be somebody. You know what I mean? These people will continue to do what they will do. The problem is never and will ever be Kevin Samuels. It'll be what he represents, and that'll always, continue on. One could take this a step further and say that guess what? Let's look at what Donald Trump did and what he was about and the ideas that he was spreading. That had a profound effect on marginalized people. What were we able to really do about it? What could we have really done? Do we have the power to shut down, white conglomerates and white medias that continue to allow, ideas and destructive ideas in the community to perpetuate? Are we coming together to do that?
So let me
We
let
need to
me
understand that.
let me
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. We need to understand that Kevin Samuels at the end of the day is a real small fish. It's a lot bigger than Kevin Samuels when it comes to the gender wars that keeps happening in our
Okay, so
community.
let me jump in here real quick. I understand what Ruled by Venus is saying. I understand what you're saying, but you're going nuanced as we talk about here. I don't think everything is entertainment, and I think where you like every other word like narrative and words are being overused and misused. Entertainment to me is like Usher sliding across the stage, a man causing a mob of vitriolic, feedback towards black women or black men. To me, is not entertainment. So we have to be careful about what we say is entertainment. I said a million times before, I don't think he was entertainment, right? Just like Trump, people laughed it off, right? Till people died at the Capitol, right? It was funny. He was the funny president. He was the clown president, right? And then people actually died at the Capitol. So similarly with Kevin Samuels, the vitriol was getting so bad that black men were striking out at black women, threatening their lives. I mean, promoting abuse, domestic abuse, doxing women, posting their addresses. So we have to understand that not everything is entertainment. Specifically, I don't think he was entertainment, although he was funny in between. When you listen for a few minutes longer, you're like, this motherfucker is dangerous. And you watch what he's doing to these mobs, and you're like, this motherfucker is dangerous. Listen to what he's saying, and then look at the reaction of the mob, right? While again, like just like Trump, they sit in their ivory tower while all the chaos and division is going on. But then he's snug as a bug in a rug up in a condo with a white Latina, right? So in that way, again, going back to the topic, it is disloyal. I got Anna Alicia backstage, one of my all-stars. What's up, mama?
Hello, everybody. Long time
Oh,
no
yeah.
hear, no see. I miss you all.
My queen.
You missed you.
Look, I have to say that the thing about the booty goon, rest his soul, whatever, is he was able to tap into a market, and in the Black community, we're now seeing what that market is, and it does have to do with a lot of hate towards Black women, violence towards Black women. That's a lifestyle. It's an absolute reality, racial reality, cultural reality. And he was able to tap into that. A pig is a pig. You can put makeup on it, you can make it tap dance across the stage, but it's still a pig, right? He was still a representation of everything that, in my estimation, is wrong with the Black community, and everything that is wrong with the dynamic between Black men and Black women. And then let's not forget sort of the subculture, or the undertones of his message, which truly was that women are the problem and men don't need women. And, he understands the urge of men who want to be with other men. This was a homosexual man who was simply pushing that agenda more covertly than anything else. So there was nothing for me, he wasn't entertaining at all. Like at all. I could watch my auntie, sit up, smell and spray perfume, drink with a straw, and read me, and she'd be funnier. Do you know what I mean? Like, she'd be more incisive, more insightful. There's something to learn there. But he was absolutely not entertaining, not insightful, not intelligent. This was not an intelligent man. But he understood the market, and it makes sense, because really what he was, a consultant, an image consultant. He understands the power of image. He understands the importance of it, especially in the social media age and in this space, in this medium. So let's just understand what he was and what he represented at the end of the day. And that's why he won't be missed at the end of the day. He couldn't accomplish in life that the type of notoriety and mainstream attention he wanted until he died. But now, I mean, for me, it's old. This is old news. Like, this is like, I'm already checking my watch. Like, okay, what's next? But he could never go mainstream, because white people don't. You need white people to co-sign. You need to be co-signed by Whitey. Whitey has to give you the bumper sticker and say, I subscribe. I like that message. I agree. And only Black people, only disenfranchised and marginalized Black people are going to subscribe to his rhetoric. White people, they're just, I mean, in when it comes to this message, they have a bit more, I guess, wherewithal, more understanding. This is an L for Black people. Kevin Samuels is an L for Black people all over the world. But I mean, he's gone. It is what it is.
I like to.
Let me respond to that really quick. There's something interesting that you said, Annalicia, about, oh my God, they're going crazy. There's something interesting that you said, the intelligence thing. A lot of people, he was so intelligent, and y'all gonna get mad, but it's okay, you'll get over it. He was so intelligent. He was highly intelligent. I was like, what are you talking about? He just literally took the most vulnerable people in America, right? Just like mega church preachers do, and told them what they wanted to hear. He knows about the discourse. He knows about the trauma. He knows about the division that exists already between Black men and Black women. To me, it was Pied Piper 101. You look at a group of people, what the fuck is their problem? I'm gonna talk about that, and they're gonna super chat me. Like, where's the intelligence in that? I say it a million times. I can do the same thing. I can cam up tomorrow and bash Black women for months, and Black men will be in my back pocket at my beck and call. It is not rocket science. You don't need a freaking master's degree for that. You just tap into the market. The market. And when he saw that average at best blow the fuck up, he said, here it is. Here it is. They don't want to hear about my cologne. They don't want to hear about, does your fucking tie match your whatever. And he wasn't a good enough stylist where he was going to work for celebrities. So since he knew his demographic, in my opinion, okay, with a dysfunctional, he said, well, I'm going to work here, seeing as I can't dress a Idris Elba or a Denzel Washington. These average at best people, well, shit. Look how they pulling up. So let me stay here in this market. And it's a big market. Mona Scott Young does it. You know what I mean? So the Sotomayors did it before the Kevin Samuels. So when I keep hearing he's intelligent, you're gonna have to show me more than taking a vulnerable group of people and working with their minds.
Yeah, that's light
You
work.
have to show me more than that.
Like,
You know what?
that's light work.
Intelligent, because the people who were viewing him were not intelligent.
Right, exactly.
And that's really a fact. And no disrespect, but he's smart in this way because he understood image. He understood, if I present myself in a suit, keep myself well groomed, I'm already going to appear as like some astute individual. If I speak a certain way and I appear to have money, then most people who operate at a lower level, who probably were on the same level as him, but he understood the power of his image, he knew to present himself a certain way, the same way we would go into a job interview, right? I'm not going to come in my like poom poom shorts. I'm going to come dressed appropriately to give a certain impression. So that's the only thing that he did. Well, I can't say he's not smart in certain regards.
You can.
In certain regards, like in terms of him finding his market and really understanding it, yes. But in terms of like solving problems and them praising him like he's Malcolm X or something, like I don't get it. Like how?
I think so. So obviously it's difficult to measure intellect, right? I don't fully subscribe to these sort of IQ scales. Some of it's arbitrary, but obviously there are some measures. With respect to Kevin Samuels, the problem that I have with him is everything that you just described. Who was that? Her name is Rue, is it?
Ruled by Venus? You could say
Okay.
Venus.
Okay, you want me to call you Venus?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything that Venus just described is image. It's exterior. And quite frankly, it's shallow, right? This is you're not getting anything of substance, and that's who that's who he is. He represented who and what he is fundamentally, and at his core, he is someone of zero substance, all image, all flash, all smoke and mirrors. This doesn't mean he's intelligent, doesn't mean he's necessarily smart. It means, again, he tapped into a market and he put a purse across his chest and he put some high heels on and he did the song and dance and people liked it. And that's the reality. Like people coming up here copying a plea and like really going hard in the paint talking about he was smart, you're wrong, like prove it. Like prove it. You can't prove to me that he was smart because he understands the importance of image. Kids understand the importance of image. Are they smarter than adults? But in most cases, no. Will you trust them with your finances? No. This guy was behind in child support. He couldn't find a way to make money. Like, look at his life before you're average at best. By the way, he to me is below average at best. So that's a problem. But this is not an individual who's smart. This is an individual who understands superficiality, who understands the importance of image. And let's not conflate that understanding with nuanced understandings of the true nuanced issues and challenges in the Black community and the dynamic between Black men, Black women, and Black children. Don't conflate. Black men don't even know what it means to conflate. So naturally, they're going to conflate and cop pleas and say he was smart. They're not smart either. They don't even know what it means to conflate. They need to just fall back.
I can say I've noticed, and I've run into, especially in these spaces, men who have the quote unquote degree, men who have pledged fraternities, and they're plumb dumb. Like they have no hustle, they have no career. But I found out that on YouTube they can have a quote unquote hustle and a quote unquote career here. When you look at how Kevin Samuels came in, he came in pretty much like the people he was talking to, twice divorced, no money, backed up on child support. Basically, he was his audience, but he donned a suit in a dim room, and it gave the impression that he was better than they were, when he was exactly who they were. He was just more slick with his shit, but he was the same person. He was the same average at best or below average at best dude, behind on his child support, twice divorced, baby mamas didn't like him. You know what I mean? He was the guy he was talking to. He just put on a suit, right? It's like the white lab coat. If someone comes in a white lab coat in the room, you're like, oh my God, he must know what he's doing. A white lab coat is associated to, you know more than me about health, right? And fitness. It's the same thing with when someone dons a suit. The guys that wear Timberlands on the block wear a suit to court. They wear a suit to court, right? So he knew about image, but I saw him, like a lot of these YouTube cats, constantly changing their brand and their image to see what sticks. They're constantly throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. The cologne didn't stick, okay? The telling men about themselves didn't stick. Average at best. Oh, you guys like it when I talk shit about black women. Here's what we're gonna do. And that is what happened. I don't see why people are acting like he's an anomaly or holier than thou or very, very intelligent. I'm like, he used the oldest trick in the book. Mega church preachers have been doing it forever. Let me give you a little bit of hope. Let me piss you off a little bit. Let me tell you what you need to hear, and you're gonna line my pockets. It's not rocket science.
Drink the Kool-Aid. They drank the Kool-Aid. It's that simple.
Ron, what did you want to say? Because then I want to ask. I don't want Annalisa to leave. I want to follow up a question. But Haran, I know I kept interrupting you. So please, what were you going to say?
Okay, so another point, right quick that I want to use. Currently, Young Thug and some of his associates are facing RICO charges.
Saw it. I saw it.
I also want to make another point. I love the new Kendrick Lamar record. You know how excited I was when I said it to you, Jen.
Saw it.
I love the content of it. I love the content of it. I love the creativity behind it. I really felt that community really needed to absorb that. Now, there was someone that I caught, and I mean, a number of people that I caught in the Twitter space that lambasted the record because they felt it was too boring, because it was a conscious record. It wasn't a turn up record. It wasn't quote unquote, I guess you can say a nigger record. We can call it. Now, when the charges were brought up against, Thug and so on, I noticed that the same people who actually lambasted Kendrick's current effort sat there and said that they couldn't understand why certain rappers such as this can't, make the, transition from the street and leave that alone and just, enjoy their money and enjoy their music. And I sat there saying that, wait a minute, you sat there and basically want these people to constantly shove this toxicity towards you, thinking that they're going to separate themselves from you, but you have this need to feed on this toxicity. They therefore are feeding that need that you have for this toxicity. I've had this conversation with many people in the music industry too, when they were talking about how much they didn't like, Kendrick's new record because they didn't think it was a hit because it wasn't essentially strip club music. Now, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we have to come to the realization that there's a core problem of dysfunction and toxicity in the community. And if someone is not going to fix it, if we're not going to stand up and actually try to fix it, guess what? Somebody's going to try to profit from it. That's what Kendrick, that's what Kevin Samuels actually did. So if we're not going to have the balls to actually to actually get up and really fix anything, should we really be mad by snakes, hustlers, and predators actually doing things for entertainment and basically getting whatever they can get out of it? Because at the end of the day, these are narcissists. They're not going to think about you. They're not going to think about what they do to the community. I think people at the end of the day, we want to talk about it, whether or not someone's, intelligent. No, let's talk about whether or not somebody really has the mechanism to actually feel empathy for someone else. And that's just their physiology.
So if you can't beat them, profit off them.
You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're gonna basically do what they do.
Jen.
Because he is what it is. He's a con artist. That's what he did. Just like we have preachers who are con artists. If you sit there and you constantly come to them with your problems that you don't have the guts to actually fix yourself, they're gonna continue to help you and make money off of you. That is what they do.
Can I add something?
Go ahead, Annalisa.
No, I was just gonna say, people, especially, I'm going to relegate obviously this to the Black communities. People in the Black community often are looking for people to confirm their biases. Like people, I think psychologically speaking, people in general are looking to confirm their biases, whether they have biases about people, genders, a job, an education. They want people who are going to align themselves with their own internal thoughts, ideas, and biases. And here comes Kevin Samuels to blame, the problems in the Black community on Black women. Because Black men surely are not going to be accountable. They haven't been. It's been millennia, and Black men still haven't got their shit together. They're pathetic. So Kevin Samuels comes along and he says, no, I have the remedy. I have the answer. Outside of, understanding your urge to be with other men, the problem is women.
Can you expand more on Black men are
Can you
pathetic?
not cut me off, and then I'll do what I'll do.
No, but please do expand more on how are they pathetic?
Well, their social standing is pathetic. Their academic attainment is pathetic. They're sad. So we can go down that dusty rabbit hole.
So I assume your Latino father is the model that all Black men should follow.
Oh, he messed
Why
up.
are you assuming my father is Latino? Do you know him?
Well, your name is Arisa, so I don't know. That's not an Italian
he messed
name.
up again.
No,
He's
messed up, bro. Why are you?
First of all, you're not Ancestry or 23andMe. Mind your business. Second of all, let me finish saying what I'm saying, and then we can get into why you and Black men are
group
pathetic.
Of people, and you sounding a little bit racist.
Right. Well, I don't care what you think I'm sounding like. I'm going to finish sounding like
I'm
how I'm
ashamed
going to sound,
that you
and you're going to wait your turn. That's how these panels work.
Go ahead. I've been waiting my turn, but you just
right. Well, you just got here. You're new to this. I'm true to this. So wait your turn.
No, you sound like a racist.
Like I was saying, who is this guy? Like, cállate, shut the hell up.
Oh, cállate. Is that the only Spanish for you? You know,
it is because my father's not Spanish, dum.
You got that remedial
I'm
Spanish.
patronizing you. You recognize it?
You one of those.
Like I was saying.
Okay,
here
so
comes Kevin. Here
one of those
Kevin Samuels. Okay, someone has to give him the boot.
Hold on, really quick.
Shut up.
And Alicia, really quickly. Little pressure. This is your first time on the panel. The men don't interrupt the women here. I understand you're passionate about whatever it is you're saying, but you can't start off with accusations and assumptions. And Alicia is not Latina. Okay, so if you can't pump your brakes, I can't have you on the panel. All right. So listen to what she has to say, and if it triggers you, woosah, and wait till she's done, and then you can respond. I don't have a problem with the rebut, but we don't do the talking over people here, okay? Especially the ladies. I'll bring you back up after she's done, or you can go. It's up to you. And Alicia, you were saying?
I was saying that people, generally speaking, psychologically speaking, are looking for external sources and forces to confirm their biases about life, whether it's like, I didn't get to where I needed to go in life and I blame it on racism, I blame it on oppression. We're constantly looking to confirm these biases. And he came along and confirmed everything that Black men needed to know in order to try to bolster their confidence and their lack of self-worth. Because inherently they know, they're not really shaking and moving economically. They're not really doing what they need to do. And rather than taking accountability and saying, hey, you know what? We're the problem, the degradation of the community, it's us. We're the sellouts. You can go back to, the plantation and you'll see. Rather than really doing the homework and being accountable and getting educated, they're looking to confirm their ignorant biases and say, that's right. Kevin is right. It's the women who are not submitting and submissive. It's the women who are masculine. That's right. It's the women getting an education. That's a problem in a capitalistic society where you need money and your money's correlated with your academic attainment. They don't think about that part. But because Kevin's confirming their biases, he's making them feel good about themselves, because otherwise they know they feel worthless because their position in society says so.
Okay, so we have we got 3 people backstage: Tone, DRH19D, and Little Pressure. I'm gonna bring you gentlemen up. Tone, I know you have a hard time waiting for people to stop speaking. So please, Tone, I'm gonna let you up, but do not interrupt. Okay, it's kind of hard to talk when you're interrupting. So welcome, Tone, DRH19D, and Little Pressure. Welcome, gentlemen. What say you? I'm gonna pick one of you so you're not all talking over each other. Little Pressure, you wanted to respond.
Yep.
And Alicia, please do.
I do acknowledge that my voice as a man is a higher pitch than a woman, so I do apologize if I came in the panel as Brutus and but she did trigger me. I do acknowledge that she did trigger me, so I apologize if I came in a way that you guys didn't like. It was mostly with just grouping people, but I'll just fall back for now.
Here, I have this. This is why I do this, little press. This is why I do this to make people feel better.
Yeah, I don't care to be diplomatic anymore.
And Alicia doesn't have one of these.
Yeah, no, and I never will, because if it doesn't apply, let it fly. And if you know what you know about people who are doing what they should be doing, and you center yourself around those type of people with that mentality, it really shouldn't trigger you, right? So my thing is, I'm not a politician. I'm not looking to get your vote. I don't really care if you like me. I don't know you. I really could care less about you. And diplomacy for me, that's not my purview. It's not my thing. This is YouTube. So I'm just gonna say what I think and feel and know.
Okay. Tone, I know you're up next. What did you have to say?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot I can say here. So I'm going to say a small piece now and save some later. But to the woman who is disparaging Kevin Samuels, firstly, you have to understand the man has passed. So do have a little bit of respect, because you're talking really out of pocket, to be honest. And it's a bit disrespectful to someone who's passed away.
Right.
And secondly, well and truly, you seem very vocal. So where was this vocalization when the man was alive? Okay. So firstly, have a bit of respect. And secondly, a lot of talk there. I didn't hear a lot of you people. A lot of people who were talking online weren't talking like this when the man was alive. So real talk, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, from what I've heard from his videos, it seemed the man was sincere and he was helping people. Because in his tone of approach and narrative, I've heard him talk to women. They've brought the problem along, and he's dissected the problem and given them a solution. So it seems to me what we have here is a man who's tried to help people, and because they're not seeing it, this is my point of view. He's come along, he's tried to help people, and for some reason, because of this so-called global gender war that exists between people of color, black people, dare I say it, they've got confused and kind of like caught up in the whole black man versus black woman kind of thing. I mean, people talk about him disparaging black women. His original videos were aimed at black men, telling black men to fix up. If you're broke, don't date, blah, 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 blah. And to be honest, I'm not a defender of Kevin Samuels, because some of his stuff I actually kind of disagree with. I mean, I don't believe women are washed up over 35. That creates a new market, and the men themselves have children, so both got children, they can get it on. But back to my initial point, the brother seemed to help people. He gave women a solution to their problems, a valid, clear-cut solution. And I'm a very brutally honest person. And end of the day, people that are brutally honest, outspoken people, stand-up people that are theorists with their own ideas, they're respected, admired. People come to them for opinions. They lean on you, and etc. Our ears are always open. But the problem is some people deep down, although you're helping them, they don't recognize it. And then tutus, if they were to pass away, or that's when you see the true colors and people come out like you're seeing now. Because I do not understand how 60% of people, from what I'm reading, are coming off with these comments, which are very disparaging. I mean, this woman here is saying the guy was gay. Okay, what concrete evidence do you have that he was homosexual? Do you please dare tell?
Are you, whenever you're done with your
I understand the urge to be with other men. What are you talking about? That's proof.
What proof do you have? Proof.
He had that urge as well. He understands, so he doesn't think it was gay.
What? No, listen. What proof? Evidence?
Well, you as a straight women, though.
Well, no. Let her speak. What evidence? Stop. Let the woman speak.
Yeah, let Annalisa speak, because you were responding to her. So let her respond, but I just want to jump in and say it's bullshit that you say people are saying this now. Kevin Samuels had a petition on change.org with hundreds of thousands, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that were trying to destroy him on YouTube and remove him from all social media. There are countless videos anti-Kevin Samuels. So let's not be disingenuous that all of a sudden people are talking shit. Okay.
I can add to that, but I'm not going to.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay, now let
Because
Annalise
first
finish.
of all, first and foremost, you're not familiar with me, nor should you be. But don't posit whether
So
or
I'm not familiar
okay,
with.
hold on.
I'm not familiar with.
I didn't interrupt you.
Sorry, can you come back
So
a bit,
hold on.
please? Sorry, I'm not familiar with.
You need to hold on. That's what you need to do.
I'm asking you to come. I'm asking you to bring back on your point.
Why are you
I
talking?
misheard
I
you.
can't hear you when I'm talking.
I misheard you.
Like I was, Jen, we have to be more.
We gotta have a conversation, and you guys
Lord
can
of
just try to
mercy.
punk the man or
Like
what? You know,
these booty goon, like
You
the
know-
man is gone.
What do you mean, booty coons? Who are you talking to?
On here, like
We don't play that over here, you know.
Okay, if he's gonna cut me off, I'm not gonna continue doing this.
Go ahead,
Be
Anna.
quiet, sir. Be quiet.
Bro, you
Like,
low
do I have to
name
Kevin
calling.
Samuels you
Don't-
and like
don't call
cut
me-
you out? Like, just
Don't call me
stop.
booty goon, though, bro. Don't
Oh
call
my
me
God.
booty goon. You
Like
wildin'.
I was saying, you're not familiar with me because I've been talking about the booty goon. And here's what you need to understand about me. If you were disrespectful in life, there's no respect for you in death. I don't really care. And that's not my thing. Again, I'm not a politician. I don't need your vote. I don't need you to like me. He was disrespectful, disparaging towards women. And frankly, he was violent. He had violent anecdotal solutions to some of the problems in the Black community. Like discipline, first of all, disciplining your woman physically. So don't tell me to be respectful to a man who in life was estranged from his child, was behind in child support, was
how do
disrespectful
you
and
know
demeaning
if he's
towards
behind
Black
in child
women
support?
collectively. There's nothing to respect in death. I don't know him. I don't like him like that. I'll say what I want in
But
life
you know
and
he
in
was
death.
behind in child
That's what I did when he was alive, and I'll do it now that he's dead. I don't care.
That's awful attitude to have. That's really bad.
But you're right.
Listen,
who cares
I'm
about what
telling y'all
your
for the last
opinion is
time.
of me,
And
sir?
Alicia, hold on a minute. And Alicia, hold on. I'm telling y'all for the last time, you're not going to talk over the women on this panel. If you leave here, never come back, I will be okay. If you stay backstage and wait for me to bring you back up, I will be okay. We have to learn to communicate. Let her finish. I don't care how triggered or tickled your booty hole is. Hold it. Write it down. This is why I have a pen. Write it down, and then you can rebut. I don't have a problem with you responding. Stop interrupting her. It's really simple. It's communication 101. Now I'm gonna hold y'all backstage because you can't seem to follow directions. Okay, and I'll bring you back up. But stop the giggling, stop unmuting yourself just to laugh at her. We're not doing that here. It doesn't happen on the block. Por Dios.
Like this is what I'm saying. These are, and you can tell, you see the distinction. You see Haran is patient. He's quiet. He doesn't cut people off. You can differentiate between men who don't listen to Kevin Samuels while he was alive, couldn't care less, understood what Kevin Samuels' mission was, didn't subscribe to it, and males who love the message, who subscribed and who were there weekly, who got off when he called them average at best. You can tell that these are walking, talking red flags, and I'm glad that they're coming up here, exposing them. Hee hee ha ha, like little schoolgirls laughing, interjecting. You're doing exactly what Kevin Samuels would have wanted you to do. So you're really living up to his legacy. Truly, you're just trying to disrespect Black women. The problem is the Black women over here on this block, we didn't give a fuck about the man. Whether he was alive or he's dead, I don't really care. That's his business. And people talking about, oh, he died on someone's vagina. He died on a floor. He died on a floor, and the vagina was probably paid for. And we don't really know what happened, what went on, you know, what transactions were made. We don't really know. But what we do know, we know he died alone on a floor. That's what we do know. Wasn't on anyone's vagina. I can assure you of that. And even if it was, I can also assure you it was probably paid for. Something that you guys probably have some experience with, because I don't see women dealing with you in real life. That's the truth. And that's why you like Kevin Samuels. No one is going to deal with someone like him in real life organically. He is as feminine as they come. Like, are you guys are being serious? You guys came up here as feminine as you wanted to be, clicking your heels, interrupting, laughing. You're like, you're a joke. And then you come up here saying you're disparaging Black men. And then don't act like a Black man. Don't act like a fool. Conduct yourself with some decorum and prove me wrong. Why don't you sit up here and act like Haran? Don't interrupt and be quiet.
So
That's the problem with
say
people who
this
like
to
Kevin
the
Samuels. They're stupid and they're unintelligent and they expose themselves every time. That's the problem. Birds of a feather flock together.
So let me say this to the guys waiting backstage. I'll bring you back up. I don't care if you're Kevin Samuels fans. I don't care if you're Kevin Samuels subscribers. I don't care if you live and die by his words. That is fine. You can say your piece. I don't mind it. I'm not here as like, oh, we're not, oh, don't come up here if you like Kevin Samuels. I don't care if you like Kevin Samuels. All I'm asking is don't interrupt so we could communicate. That's it. All right. You could come up here and give him his flowers, all you like, but just don't interrupt so we could all have a conversation. Please. Tone, you're up.
Well, let me say this. I'll say this. I myself I'm not a supporter as such or a subscriber to Kevin Samuels in that manner. Okay. I'm simply saying, in layman's terms, that the brother, from what I heard from his videos, which were spoken, that I've listened to, I generally cannot find. Well, you see, and this is where people get it twisted, because someone can empathize with someone's opinion. It doesn't mean that they're avid or they're heavily into that opinion. Similarly, I could see the point of view of a Trump or a Boris Johnson or someone who's far right. I can see their line of logic. Doesn't mean I concur to it. Okay? Simple as that. Now, to the female who spoke, I can see, you see, sometimes in life, we can't see ourselves from an external perspective. And because someone says something, they must believe that. They must go with that. Listen, there's no, I don't, in terms of black women, that's there where it's at, okay? Or because I seemingly agree partly with Kevin Samuels' opinion in some things, doesn't mean that I hate black women, okay? You must learn to understand that. And well and truly, I mean, you have these modern rap stars like Lil Wayne, who always seem to disrespect black women. And I don't see any vitriol in their direction. Likewise, Jerry Springer, Maury, always have black women in particular, looking very silly. So why does it seem that certain people are let off the hook when, in all fairness to Kevin Samuels, when faced with a situation, he did give these women positive advice. And they walked away saying, that sounds okay. I'm going to work with that. Now, that may not be you, and not particularly talking to the girl who spoke before me, but to the female of the opposing opinion. Simply because it's not you doesn't mean it's other women. Okay? And one last thing, me personally, I take a little bit of disrespect, someone calling me out, saying I'm uneducated, because truth be known, I'm a well-known educator in this country, one of the most prominent universities. Okay, so I'd hold that down. I'd tone that down. Okay, just humble yourself in life. Learn to be humble, because and I'll say this to the woman who spoke before me. I can sense a lot of anguish there, and a lot of anger there, and a lot of pain there. Okay, and at the end of the day,
yeah, we're not doing the gaslighting. You're not a therapist.
Let's not
no. That's let me speak.
You're an educator.
You're jumping in on me. You're jumping in on me.
Care. Don't worry about my attitude.
Okay, I'm not worried about you.
Worry about what I'm actually saying. Attack my talking points, and if you feel if you're feeling froggish and you'd like to leave,
name me one.
Name me one. Disprove. Don't worry about how I feel. That's my
you're jumping in. I'm talking and jumping in, and now you're jumping in.
Do you understand?
Okay, but you're jumping in though. I'm speaking and you're jumping in. I'm making a point and you're jumping in like you're doing now. That's disrespect according to your own theory.
I don't know you. I don't respect
according to your own point of view, you said people that jump in is disrespectful. You've just jumped in when I've spoken.
Well,
so you've just gone back and you just gone full circle.
If you were listening to the teacher, she said when men interrupt women. So
Okay, so let me do a super chat break and I'll bring you back up, Tone. I don't like the talking over each other. And I see DRH19D is back. I don't know how to say your name. I guess you'll let me know when I bring you up. Ill Doctrine, thank you for the super chats. Let's throw some light on this. You usually do. Ill Doctrine says, regarding the statement to the women who are disparaging Kevin Samuels, quote unquote, the man was disgusting. He said slap women over words. Black women are ugly and teased women to die alone. He sold contempt for Black women to Black men. And I've never read something more factual. And FYI, Ill Doctrine is USDA grade A male. He is a man. So you can't say that this is only how women feel.
No,
Okay?
and that's one part that I will agree with you ladies that let's say I always believe in power of the tongue. That was something that he literally said 3 weeks ago. He said that to one of the callers, like, you're gonna die alone. And look how the world turns, and he's in the situation in which his mother doesn't have any money to bury him. He's living in a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm not trying to downplay his apartment. Well, I mean, for having 1 million subscribers on YouTube and talking the talk that he was talking, I would have thought he would have been in a different position. You know, he didn't have a publicist, he didn't have an assistant, he didn't have nobody. Like, you know, he was a one-man show, which is respectable, but at the same time, it's like he was not handling his business as, you know, as he portrayed it.
Oh, he died alone.
So he wasn't high value at all. He died broke.
He died alone at low value. Wow.
He had to have had some money. Them super chats were popping.
Wait, now I got.
You know what I think? I think he spent the money on heels and perfume and those crossbody purses. That's what I think he did with the money. I think it was a money mismanagement 101.
Wait. Super chat break really quickly. Thank you for the super chat. Luis Vendrell says, no one wants to hear from the blips from across the pond. F out of here. Get some crumpets and tea. I think he's directing that towards Tone. He wants Tone to get crumpets and tea. I want to ask the question because I do have ladies on the panel. Ladies, was Kevin Samuels disloyal to the race he divided? Do you think him being found with Alcantara, Hortensia Alcantara, do you think that he was disloyal to the race while he was, in my opinion, divisive in the Black community? He was, you know, creeping off and skeeting off with the Mexican woman. Do you think that shows he was disloyal, or can you be for the Black community very vehemently and still slide off with the quote unquote preference?
I know what she's gonna say. I have an idea. I'm gonna let her go.
I think he was disloyal for the divisiveness. I'm not gonna say you're disloyal just because you sleep with other races. But if you're the type of person who claims that you're all about putting the Black nuclear family back together, and black women need to understand we don't hate them, they're actually our first choice. Like, he's so full of shit. I can't. But yeah, he was definitely disloyal and divisive way before he laid down with the girl.
Okay.
So I look at interracial marriage and dating a little bit differently. I feel that there are some political, social, and economic implications with respect to the people that we date and we align ourselves with romantically. So for me, yes, of course. But I think the caveat for me is the fact that it's to be expected. It's to be expected. It's not like, you know, I wasn't a big gulp or a big gasp or anything like that. To me, when Black men get to a certain status and a certain level where they have access to other women, other types of women outside of Black women, I mean, to me, that's to be expected. So I expect the disloyalty. I expect the divisiveness. I expect the hypocrisy, right? I expect you to be pro-Black, and then your mistress is white, Martin Luther King. Like, these are the things that I expect.
To Trolling on the River, I'm not Black and I'm not Latina. I'm Batman. Hope that helps. Super chat break. Ill Doctrine, thank you so much for this super chat. Ill Doctrine says he failed as a husband, as a father, man, and chemical engineer, which is probably what he went to school for. He was disgusting. I don't respect him because he wasn't respectable. But
Thank you.
my daddy did his job, and I don't need one. Y'all do, not some all. Thank you for saying that, because
Love him.
people tell me like, "Oh, you're mad," but I was like, I had a daddy, a very good daddy, who told me about people like Kevin Samuels and men that the type that follow him. So I'm not this, woman pining for the opinion of a man in a suit, who had a nose job to tell me what he thinks of me or how I should be rated. I'm not that. I'm not his audience. This is why I don't hate Kevin Samuels, right? This is why I saw him for the charlatan he was, because I'm not in that demographic that gets triggered by what he's saying. With that said, I understand why women get triggered by him, right? Because they've been hearing a certain thing all their lives, and now this dude in a suit is talking to millions of people, reiterating so what they've heard their entire lives. But he's not talking to me. That's why I'm not triggered by him. But I always call a spade a spade. Whether you trigger me or not, I'm going to call it how I see it. So who's triggered, you or me? Because I'm just saying what I see. And then men get mad because I'm saying what I see. But you guys claim you like the truth. Isn't that why you like Kevin Samuels? Because you like the truth, and I'm telling you the truth.
This is the problem that I have, because I think that people are a little bit confused, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know what, take the meat and spit out the bones, or read the positive messages in between, all of the salacious and all of the degrading messages. And I think for me, with Kevin Samuels, the only things that really triggered me was anytime he would incite, encourage, or try to perpetuate the overall message of, or acceptance, perpetuation of violence against and towards women, right? Under the guise of, getting your woman in line, or some sort of interpersonal or romantic discipline, whatever it was. Those are the things that I had a problem with, because violence, it sort of transcends across all racial lines. And this is another reason why he would never go mainstream, because people are not going to accept that line of reasoning. There are no group of people outside of Black people, truly, because we understand violence is, it's a big part of of life growing up. It's a big part of the way that a lot of our parents disciplined us. So Black people are going to understand that, and they're the only ones who will subscribe to it. But other groups of people are not going to accept it. He's not going to go mainstream. So those things were triggering for me. Outside of that, exactly what Jen is saying, nobody needs to call him. He's not a better woman than me. Sir, you are not a better woman than me. I have a uterus, I have ovaries, I am a better, and I'm a real woman. I'm a woman, sir. Like, I don't need to be told how to be a woman. If you think you're the perfect woman, cool. But I just don't need to call to hear that, right? Like, I'm not going to get advice. I don't want you to tell me how I should get married. Been there, done that. Like, who are you? You're an image consultant. Tell me if this blouse looks good with these shorts. Like, that's the kind of advice that I would ever take from a man in this medium, in this space. You're an image consultant, right? Like, stay in your lane. You know what I mean? So he's not triggering outside of the fact that he would incite violence. And those are some of the talking points that he did use, that Black men did kind of take and run with. Outside of that, nobody cares about what he had to say. And any issues that I did have with him while he was alive, best believe I brought it up. I believe he was a closeted homosexual man. I talked about that. I believe that he didn't care anything about the Black community. I've spoke about that. He is what he was. Like, you don't have to like what I'm saying. Everybody says, oh, but it's just the way Kevin Samuels says it, but what he says is true. Okay, then call me Kevin Samuels, because what I'm saying is true. You just don't like the way I'm saying it. How about that?
And to piggyback on you, for example, like, one thing they say that, like, the biggest crooks in life wear suits. And a lot of people think that because he was clean cut, because he wear pretty good colognes. There's 1,000 Kevin Samuels. If you go to Bloomingdale's right now, if you go to Bloomingdale's and Fifth Avenue in the first floor, there's gonna be a guy that's gonna tell you, hey man, wear this sneakers, wear this type of shoes, put this type of cologne, like, make sure you cut your beard. Those are regular hygiene problems that you don't really need a grown-ass man on YouTube to tell you. Sadly, for a lot of men, we didn't have an uncle, a tío that be like, yo, man, brush your teeth, man. So I think that's the problem here that a lot of people are putting them in a pedestal and saying the Godfather of what, bro? Of what? Like, let's keep it G. Of what?
I have to ask a question. For the people who feel, for the men who feel that he's impacted their lives positively, or if there are any women who are in the chat who feel that he has impacted their lives positively, can you provide tangibles? Can you say exactly what this man has done, and as he pushed you to basically take action? Because here's the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have with the whole thing. Kevin Samuels, in my opinion, this whole thing's been being blown terribly out of proportion. He's really small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? He took advantage of a demand. As I said before, there is a great cesspool of toxicity in the community that needs to be addressed by both sides of the aisle, with black men actually taking the lead. That's not being addressed. No action is being taken to fix that. And if there's no action being taken to fix that, Kevin Samuels is not going to be the last one. There's going to be another one after him. And if that guy drops, there's going to be another one after him. Why? Because there's an opportunity to make money. And that's it.
And you know what's funny, Haran? Trolling on the river again. I'm not black. I'm not Latina. I'm Wonder Woman. You know, going back to what you guys are talking about. Here's the thing that's funny: that they revere this man, the Godfather. He was about to leave your black asses in the dust. Kevin Samuels is in the process of changing his brand. He was going mainstream, far the fuck away from all you guys who don't know how to wash your ass, for the record.
Yes, he was.
That is why he
Yes,
started
he was.
connecting himself to entertainers. That is why he started changing his dialogue. That is why he's upcoming on an episode of Atlanta. Do you really think after he got on with these celebrities, he was still going to be catering to y'all? Do you really think that? Like, how stupid are you? Like, I wish that man didn't fucking die so these people can see that he would have left their dumb asses in the dust looking for the next Godfather on YouTube. He gave zero fucks. He was about the bag. He just knew he could get the bag from y'all. But they're different levels.
You know what would have happened?
He started connecting himself to the entertainment industry. You really think he was going to sit with y'all for 3 hours in a dark room with his thing going like this in the back?
Hey, Jen, doesn't that sound like J-Lo's strategy? Oh, that's
It
about.
worked. It worked.
Yes.
Jen, let me tell you something. What would have happened if that man was alive? And I guarantee you would have happened. I saw it. You and I spoke about it. We saw the play coming from the entertainment industry. He was pulling out some basically, just apparent things that people do with the entertainment industry when they're trying to rebrand. The only thing that he needed, if he had actually broke through, he would have gotten to the right white person. He would have kissed the ring. He would have promised to basically disparage and throw as many black people under the bus as possible.
He definitely would have kissed the ring.
You know what I mean?
Definitely would have kissed.
And they would have given him a talk show. They would have given him whatever. And trust me, as long as he aligned himself with the right white people, he'd have been fine. They'd have made sure he would have been fine. And you know what? There would have been nothing black people could ever do against that, because we wouldn't. That's the cold-blooded truth.
Trolling on the river. Check out my bio on my YouTube page. I talk about me being racist. Like, these people think that, oh my God, I'm scared to be called that. Listen, being called racist is the new fucking marketing strategy. I don't give a fuck what y'all call me. Look at my bio.
Unoriginal.
It's literally in my bio. Like, it's literally in my bio. These people act like they have an exclusive. Like, it's on my bio, bruh, or lady, or whoever the fuck you are. It is in my bio, honey. Like, it's in my bio. Like,
and your
and
boss
can
is most
I
likely a
say
racist
something
too.
to Haran's point and to Jen's point?
Sure.
Because when the Englishman was up here talking about, you know, he did so much good and he had like, I have yet.
I didn't quite say that. Sorry.
Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Like, he can't stop. We were having a cohesive conversation, and then he comes up here like the bougie Idris Elba needs to stop. It's enough already. Like, wait your turn. Like I was saying, people, all these public defenders want to talk about his message and, the good things he was doing. Please identify it, articulate it. What positive movement was started as a result of the Booty Goon and his message and his narrative and his channel and his platform? What came of his message? Anything advantageous for the Black community whatsoever? Can you guys name and identify it and articulate it? I'll wait. I'll write it down and I'll look into
it. Turtlenecks.
Can I address something, please, to the English?
Yeah.
Okay, because you said a lot of things, right? And but one of the things I remember is that you said that he gave some women good advice and some of them walked away like, that makes sense. But I remember him telling people their education wasn't valuable. After 35, they're trash. They should sleep with men after the third date. Die alone, get a dog, die. So I'm just trying to understand, where did he, what were you watching that you
That's
feel
what I'm saying.
What?
And here's the problem that I have, because people are always saying, Kevin, either he had a message and it was good and this and that, but you can't identify it. You can't. And here's the thing about, again, tapping into a market. Somebody asked me earlier, why are you saying Black men are trash? You think that he could tap into such a large market so successfully if these Black men didn't have fathers that they could go to for advice? You're getting married? You need marriage advice? Go to your father for that. Kevin Samuels was not your surrogate father, sir. Go to your uncle for that. This is clearly indicative of the lack of male leadership and role models in the Black community, because they don't know how to be men. They don't know how to look for women, how to vet women. They don't know how to get bread. You look to your father. There is supposed to be a male role model in your vicinity, in your proximity, that you can go to. You don't go on YouTube to get advice from a twice divorced, closeted homosexual man, disparaging and disrespecting Black women. You need a father. Don't ask me how are Black men garbage. There's Garbaggio. That is a perfect example. He's not your father. You don't get that type of, you get that advice from your father. Hey, Dad, I want to get married. Hey, Mom, let me bust Grandma's ring. What do you mean Kevin Samuels is helping the Black community? Again, identify it, please.
So, super chat break from Luis Vendra. Thank you for this super chat, sir. He says, how do ninjas know he wore pretty good cologne? Okay? I don't know what that man wore.
If it ain't tobacco vanilla, it ain't good.
Tobacco vanilla.
Tone, you wanted to respond to that because you got heat from all sides right now. You probably ducking. You getting heat in the chat.
Okay.
Heat on the
one last part. I didn't finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just one last part. Out of all of the issues, working against Black men, right? In terms of education, in terms of economics, in terms of health, in terms of socioeconomic status, like incarceration rates, there are actual problems that Black men can focus on. And shit like this is why they're behind. You would rather sit online and berate your own women instead of telling them, hey, why don't you guys start going to school or investing in a trade or put your money together and get some property, or let's start mentorship for the little boys so maybe they can stop getting arrested. Sidebar, I know it's not always their fault that they get arrested, but my point is there were better things that you all could have been put your energy into, but sitting around putting women down, the weaker species, was what you guys decided to do, and then you label the leader the fucking godfather. Like, that shit is pathetic. I'm sorry, it really is, and that's all I have to say.
So sorry, did you want me to speak, Jen?
Yeah, Tone, please respond.
No. I think from what I'm getting, judging from the female before what she's saying.
Yeah, I'm a woman. I'm not like a species.
No. What's your name? Okay, no. Let's clear the air.
And more accurately, my name is Annalicia, so you address me as such.
Address you as
Queen.
Annalicia.
Sorry. Annalicia. Okay. Anna. Okay. No, I think there's some probably more deep-rooted problems and division in the States over there than there is here. judging by how you're speaking, because it seems there's a judging by how you're speaking and from what I roughly know, there seems to be very entrenched divisions in terms of the so-called gender war. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep on that. Okay, so but what I will say is like I said, the point you made just now about telling young guys to learn a trade, mentorship, those kind of things. That's what I've been doing. That's what we do over here. So, I had that same talk just the other day with a senior social worker in one of the boroughs around here. So mentorship, that kind of thing you mentioned, we are doing that. This is just a small, very, very small conversation regarding one individual on YouTube who, like I said, I was not an avid follower, and there were some things I disagreed with. Like you said yourself, women over 35 not being washed up as such. I even said before, earlier today on this show, that I actually agreed with you on that particular topic, because women 35, that's still relatively young as such. And again, like I said, repeating myself, woman 35, she has a child, a man she meets has children, it's all good. And some women I know that do have children actually prefer to date guys who do have children themselves. I've been told that. You know what I mean? So, end of the day, no, one thing I will say, Anna, directing this at you, is that I'm going to, your opinions and your opinions are a good barometer of how some women think. Like you said earlier, some women think differently, and your opinions are to be respected and taken on board because they're alternative opinions to someone else who may happen to be
I'm
a
sorry,
black
sir.
female.
Did you answer the question as to what it is that he contributed that was positive, that actually helped and uplifted the Black community, whether it was tangible, a movement, an organization? Can you identify? You've been filibustering. You haven't answered the question. Can you?
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
said,
going to speak on too when he's done.
Like I said, he's a small issue in the community. He's one individual who did videos on YouTube. Some women listened to what he said and walked away with an opinion they probably did not get before. So on a social level, you're thinking of the macroism, okay?
Right. If you have a million subscribers, that's macro. So again, I need something tangible and not anecdotal, and I need evidence that will support the fact that he had a positive message that contributed to something beneficial for the Black community. Do you have anything?
So you're saying, in your opinion, that those kind of things are relative, okay? For example, a man could be local, just giving people advice. That's a positive thing.
Right, right. So
but you're looking at the big picture.
You're the one. No.
I never said.
You're the one who said he had a positive message. I'm asking you. You're the public defender. I would like for you to put
not necessarily
into evidence what it is that he contributed that was positive. What was it? What did he do for the Black community?
Let me answer. Okay, I am not a public defender. I am answering it, but you're speaking up. Okay, go on.
Welcome, Devil's Advocate. What do you have to say?
How's it going, guys? I've been listening for probably 15 to 20 minutes. So if I hit on something you guys spoke on like longer ago than that, sorry. But to answer, is it Annalicia?
Okay, it's Annalicia. You know me. You were on my channel. I recognize your voice. Cut it out. It's Annalicia.
That was months ago, and I apologize sincerely. Not the best with names, but I am good with faces. I remember you as well. So the items that I think that he said that helped the Black community, a couple of them in random order. One is he always pushed people to look professional and talked about the effects that had on the way you carry yourself. I think that's something that a lot of people in the Black community can do better at. I've worked in corporate America, and I see that as a problem, like people not getting indoors that they should have, and getting left out because of relating to being able to present yourself in a professional manner. That was a pretty consistent message. And that kind of goes without saying, being an image consultant, he's not going to tell people that wear dreads and sag your pants and all that stuff. He also, in the last couple times I listened to him, he kept even scolding the people that really liked him, like the lead attorney. Stop saying the N-word on your streams.
Stop saying what?
Stop saying the N-word on your streams. He like would tell him live on his streams, you need to stop doing that if you want the big sponsors, because lead would complain about losing I think it was
not wait a minute, not the lead attorney. He had a problem with me calling Donovan Sharp a bitch ass nigga. You mean that lead attorney?
That lead attorney, he told lead to stop saying the N-word on his streams if he wants those bigger sponsorships.
Wait, hold on. I forget your name, but I'm gonna like.
You call me David or Devil's Advocate.
She wants. Sorry.
Okay, David, hold on. So again, I said to provide tangible evidence that his message, that something that he did, pushed the community forward. That's not something that you can tangibly prove or statistically prove. There's no way to measure how an image consultant saying care about your appearance was beneficial or advantageous in any way whatsoever. There's no way to know whether or not men in droves, millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands got jobs as a result. Like that's not actually a point.
I understand your point. So you're looking for results rather than a positive message. I thought you were saying, let me know one of his positive messages.
No, I said, what did he contribute to the Black community that pushed the Black community? Go ahead,
gentlemen. Listen, because I proposed this question before her. When we're talking about tangibles, we are discussing things that we can hold, touch.
I can give you those.
We can say, wait 1 second. Now, to her point, can we have and prove in this moment that, let's say, the unemployment rate amongst Black men decreased? Since Kevin Samuels' appearance on the scene, Black men were going to more trade schools. Black men were, getting their shit together a little bit more. Blah blah blah. Things that we can actually say, aha, yes, this is the proof that this guy was beneficial to the community, because as I said before, at the end of the day, I just saw him as a charlatan and an entertainer. That was it, because I knew that at the end of the day, he was just basically taking advantage of a sickness and he was getting paid off of it.
Thank you.
I completely disagree. I would say my first answer would be marriages and Black families reuniting.
Right, but see, marriages are tracked. Marriages are tracked. So was there an influx in marriage in the Black community among Black?
He started a group on Facebook called
can you prove that it was exclusively the result of Kevin Samuels?
Of his interaction with them,
listen,
yes.
Perfume sales going through the roof doesn't count. You need to provide evidence.
He started a group on Facebook called The Mix, and he had him and his mods would verify that people are who they say they are in their jobs, where they are actually making what they make.
And what's the number? He had 1 million out of 1 million. What's the number?
No, the group was only a few thousand.
He had more than 1 million. So if anything that's tracked, right? Marriage is tracked, jobs are tracked. Then what you need to do in the back chat is provide the group, whatever it is that you're talking about. Just put it in the back chat and then we can look over the data.
So it was a private group on Facebook with several thousand people in it, and he would have, like, say somebody in the group met through his group.
Okay, this
one
is the
person moved to the other, they got married, and they planned on starting a family.
Provide the evidence.
So he was veering.
He would have them on his shows from his group.
Is that what you're saying, David? David, is what you're saying? He was veering into being a matchmaker. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, he was a year into it. In that group,
he was a year into being a matchmaker.
Well, he had a 6. The last I heard, he had a 6. He said the groups existed for 6 months. It has several thousand people. There's a huge backlog of people trying to get in, and there have been 7 marriages as a result of that group's creation, and that's pretty quick for it being a group like 6 months in. So, but it was headed in a good direction, and they were all.
Wait a minute, because there's so much to unpack there. Super chat break. Thank you, Luis Vendrell. He says, "Think about this. There is no Black community. Sad for my people." David, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're not making sense, because people meet online like all the time. I created a group. We all create Facebook groups. Friends meet up, they fuck, they marry, they get engaged, they get divorced, they speak to each other again. Like, that's what happens on social media. But for some reason, you think because Kevin Samuels made a group, now he's responsible for marriages when that's something that happens on Facebook and on Instagram all the
Excuse
time.
me.
I know. I think David is confusing Mark Zuckerberg's with Kevin Samuels. And another thing that he said that was kind of weird. You mentioned like dreadlocks and things like that. I mentioned earlier before the biggest crooks in life wear suits. Look, I'm from New York City, where we used to have stop and frisk. We used to have stop and frisk. If we had stop and frisk in Wall Street, guess what? We would have found like a pedophilia. We would have found higher drugs than marijuana. But guess what? It was illegal in Fifth Avenue. It was illegal in those areas for a reason. So just because you wear a suit doesn't mean you are a good person in society. Black people in the 70s wore suits and they still were getting, they were still going through the civil rights era. So that doesn't really mean
we're going
anything.
off on a crazy path.
No, because David, you can't prove your
point. More
point.
professional.
Yo,
you guys
David.
are
No,
stacking
you
3
haven't
points
been
on
able to
top
prove
of
your
each
point,
other.
David.
Like, can I respond to the?
No, but you're not listening to what Haran and what the other gentleman's saying. You haven't been able to prove the point.
I did.
I
did.
I think the thing is,
no, listen, Jen made a good point. I wanted to respond to it. Then he started talking about dreads in New York and suits and stop and frisk. Like, can I, like, you guys are stacking points on top of each other.
Go ahead.
And so I'd like to respond to Jen's point because she made an actual good point. And because Kevin has people in his group that are married doesn't mean he caused those marriages. So my response was when people would meet in his group, because even though you disagree with his views, women that agreed with his views would join the group and meet men that agreed with his views.
How many of them got married? I don't care.
He was at 7, 6 months in.
How many of them got married?
Can I ask a question?
He was at 7 marriages, 6 months in,
7
and he would
marriages.
have them on his shows.
Okay, right. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's do the math. Let's do brass tacks, right? 7 out of 1 million is abysmal. It's statistically irrelevant.
First of all, it's 7 that we knew about. Second of all, the group was only a couple thousand.
Out of 1 million, let's say 30.
He has 1 million subscribers. The
Let's
group
say
is a couple
30.
thousand.
Okay, time out.
No, hold on. Let's get to the numbers. The numbers,
yeah,
they
let's
don't lie.
use numbers. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Let's say it was 30. Forget your 7. I'll give you 30. I'll raise you 30. 30 is abysmal and statistically irrelevant. Do you understand? And that's what I'm saying. He didn't help to push the Black community forward.
But sorry.
Wait, time out. Because first of all, it wasn't his job.
See, now we're gonna stack points on top of it.
And number one,
Nobody
wasn't
said that it was his job. You guys are the ones saying that he was for the Black community. He was helping. He had a positive message. He was doing things for the Black community. We're saying to prove it and put your money where your mouth is. And you're telling me 7?
If somebody
7 out of 1 million women.
Oh my gosh, dude, you're using the wrong numbers.
I hear you.
So
can
I respond to Annalisa, or are you gonna add to her point? And not.
You're gonna argue in circles with her, bro. You lost this point, man. Like,
well, no,
you can't.
No.
I mean, saying it doesn't matter if he got people married. That doesn't matter. It's not the like.
Yes, it
Black
does. Black couples matter.
No, it doesn't, because you can't prove that they got married.
They met in his group, and he had.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna talk numbers.
You guys can't even agree. Look, you guys both love Kevin. You can't even agree. Look at you,
Annalisa.
I love Kevin.
I'm gonna talk numbers then, since people are trying to jump in.
You talk numbers. You said 7 marriages. We got it. Let's just let.
Yeah, and she said 7 out of 1 million, which is
I mean, we're gonna argue
only
7 marriages the whole
and
time.
if you look at the marriage rate in America, it's what, like 6 per 1,000 or something like that. And he had 7 in 6 months. So that's actually higher than the national marriage rate.
Okay. Sorry, can I say something?
Let me hear what Archer has. Tone, hold on. Let me hear what Archer has to say.
Well, I just jumped up here because you guys are having a very interesting conversation. I saw the question posed on the the name of the title, was Kevin disloyal to Black America? And the simple answer to that was no. You as a man, you can't be disloyal to. He can't be disloyal to Black America because he was Black America. Black America is not.
Oh, that's an L for Black men. Don't say that. That's an L for Black people. I don't accept that. That's an L.
That is no.
He was not a representation. He was your representation, and I can hear it.
No. He was not a representation of me, sir.
Whoa,
he was not
that
a
is an L. I'm
of
not
me,
taking
sir.
that L. You take that L.
No. Don't.
How do you feel about Candace Owens? I'm just curious.
I'm indifferent. I mean, I mean, Candace Owens is cool. I mean, she does her thing.
Do you think
I'm not really?
You think she's loyal to Black America? Because you just said Kevin can't be disloyal to Black America because he is. black. So can Candace be disloyal to black people?
I mean, I haven't really paid attention to Candace Owens' policies, and I really can care less if she was or if she wasn't. Like, what she does is irrelevant. I mean, Candace Owens
Samuels was Black America, so Black America is closeted homosexual. Oh God,
That's
no!
not.
This can't be so. It can't be true.
I mean, but isn't that the narrative? Isn't that what y'all think anyway? Because the sarcasm
No, but
says you will think
for
that
you
anyway.
for you to say
You think that anyway.
Yeah, but for you to say that is a problem because
But for you to think that before I even said it. But you think that anyway.
Look at what he
You
represented.
think that
Listen
anyway.
to
If
his
Kevin,
message.
bro,
Listen to
if
what
Kevin
he actually
wasn't,
said.
what
That's
did
a
he
problem
say?
for you to
Okay,
say he was
time
Black
out.
America.
Okay.
That means something's wrong with Black America. If Kevin Samuels was the representative of Black America, there is a problem with Black America.
Bro, every black man is
I'm
a
not your
representative.
bro.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, bro. Every
No,
black
I'm not.
man
Just because your voice is
is
as
a
high as mine doesn't
representative
mean I'm your
of
brother.
Black America. Every black man is that. I mean, the black men are men of any group are their group. Like it's not groups are not made up of women. If a Jewish man has a baby with an Irish woman, that baby's Jewish. At the end of the day, he can say what he wants about his community because it is his community, just like it's mine, just like it's every brother's on this panel. That's part of being a man and part of taking the lead. Now we may not agree with each other, even when the Declaration of the Constitution was formed up. There was nothing but men making that Constitution, but did they all agree? They came to blows over that shit. But they were all American. Just like we may not all agree with Kevin, but we're all black just like he is. And we're all a representation trying to go the same direction.
No, I'm
his loyalty, his
I don't
loyal,
care who knows it.
His
He's
loyalty,
not a representation. He
whether he is
even
loyal.
said that means that black men align themselves with Kevin Samuels because they also are Kevin Samuels. So that problem is tenfold.
I have a question.
Huge problem.
I have a question. Are you homophobic? Do you have a problem with gay people?
I'm not. Are you gay? I'm not.
I mean, you sound like.
But are you gay? Are you bisexual?
No,
I'm getting a vibe. I'm getting a
no,
vibe.
I'm not.
It's okay.
Let me say something. Let me jump in here really quickly. Sorry, I really have to acknowledge Tisha's comments because I'm fucking loving them. She says he was changing his brand because he was creating violent men and things were getting hot. That is a fact. We already know the CIA and the FBI is watching the black manosphere.
That's interesting.
Here, that is a fact. So yes, he was changing his brand, and we saw him changing his brand. Another thing Tisha said, wait a minute. Another thing Tisha said is black men need to be more worried about nation building and creating wealth, enough with focusing on women. That is true. Real men do not fucking focus on what side of the vagina a woman puts her pad on.
They don't care.
You should be nation building and stop worrying about who's over the hill, who's left over after 35, whose womb is doing what, who's single, who's married, who's going to end up at cats, who's going to die alone. Real men are nation building and wealth building. Sorry, but y'all sound like a bunch of bitches, and y'all are the only race that fucking does this.
But you see, Jen, let me tell you something.
You can't do that.
Build it and they will come. Build it and they will come, because men of means do not
Jen,
have the
let me tell you something. I've said that 1,000 times.
Wait a minute, Haran, because if you're talking over me, no one hears me.
Okay.
And I like being heard. So I just wanted to
put you in check, nigga.
What did you say?
Excuse me?
I said she put you in check, nigga. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, yeah, we don't. Okay, Haran, he's new here. We don't play that game. We don't play the division game up here. I have a lot of respect for Haran. He has a lot of respect for me. I'm sorry that your godfather is dead and there's no one around to divide you anymore, but we don't play that shit on the block. All right? I just wanted to acknowledge Tisha's comments because I think they're very, very important, and I don't think they should get lost in the chat. Black men need to be more worried about nation building and creating wealth, enough with focusing on women. I agree 110%. Y'all are too up women's asses. Y'all are like women in a fucking hair salon. Y'all are too up our asses. Who 35? Who hitting the wall? Who's a single mama? Who got this degree? Who don't? Y'all sound like a bunch of bitches. And I know you appreciate what I'm saying because you guys like the truth. So I know you appreciate what I'm saying. Am I the godmother now? So I just wanted to acknowledge Tisha. Thank you for those comments. Il Doctrine, really quickly before we continue. Thank you for the super chat. He encouraged and trained the undesirables. uncompetitive, and inadequate to compete with Black women, not other men.
Boom.
Essentially, encouraging them to be not men. That's his legacy. A bunch of not men. I agree 100%.
Love it. Period.
So we can go back and forth and listen. I understand that you guys are fans of Kevin Samuels. Again, I don't have a fucking problem with that. You being a fan of his is not going to change that I saw him as a con artist. And I want to say this before I bring Archer back up, okay? He was loyal to the Black. He was loyal to his motherfucking pockets. He was loyal to the bag, and whatever brought the bag is what he fucking stood on. That's why he went from cologne, wasn't happening. Stylist, nobody gave a fuck how he dressed. I'm talking to men in their dirty fingernails. Nobody fucking cares. Average at best, bitch. And then he blew up. And then he was going to the next level, celebrity connections. Nicki Minaj, Future the rapper. So he was going to leave y'all in the dust, okay? But he died before it happened. Kevin was loyal to the bag. He was loyal to the bag, not to the community. He was loyal to the bag. Y'all are confusing him with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. Y'all are way off. Y'all are way off. And you sound like people trying to defend gangster rap. It is hard to do. Just say you fucking enjoy it. Right. Just say you fucking enjoy it.
Or say you love to abuse women.
Don't try to explain it. You can't explain Kevin Samuels. Do not die on that hill. Just say you were a fan. But to try to explain him after he said such vitriolic, disgusting things about women, y'all sound crazy. Just say, I like him and I don't give a fuck. Who cares whether I like him? Just say that. But to say he was a marriage maker, he's a marriage now. He got 7 people married and he was loyal to the Black community. Y'all sound crazy. He got y'all out here looking crazy.
Okay, Anna, can we say he was like a YouTube co-worker? Can we just say that? Like sometimes we make videos.
Yes, I liken him to the Jim Joneses of the world, right? Now you have it's just a Jim Jones. Either you drink the Kool-Aid because you're stupid, or you don't drink the Kool-Aid because you overstand. Oh, that's a charlatan. Oh yeah, like that. He's up to no good. Like you kind of have an understanding of people. You have discernment in life, right? Or you have a father or a mother or someone to help guide you and help you understand people of substance versus an image consultant. I don't need an image consultant. I'm good. Does this blouse, is this color? Do these colors match with the shoes? Like, that's it. That is it. Outside of that, like, it's nothing for me. For me, his existence was nothing.
Let me tell Trolling real quick. I'm not single. I have 3 husbands. So I'm not single.
The fuck?
I don't know who you're talking to. I have 3 husbands.
I am number 5.
I'd like to ask a couple of questions. I got like to ask a couple of questions.
Go ahead,
gentlemen, what's his name? What's his name down there at the far right, left,
Archer.
right bottom?
Archer.
Yeah, Archer. Quick question. I recall you saying something in the manner of it's not his job. I would love to, from your perspective, I would love to know just exactly what was his job? What was his usefulness? Can you actually articulate the function?
Are you asking what was his job or his usefulness? Because those are 2 different things.
I remember that you said that something to the regards of it slipped my mind, but you said something to the effect of that not being his job. I don't recall.
No, he was never tasked.
One second, sir.
No, I get your point. We're going dialogue. One
second. What I'm basically saying is that can you basically articulate what his actual function was, in the community? Because I would just love to know, because as I said before, I just see him as an entertainer, somewhat of a very glorified one. The humbug over this guy is really over the top. But I would just really love to know what his usefulness was.
Okay, I understood your question like an hour ago, but listen, he didn't have any usefulness for the community. He was never assigned by anybody or elected by anybody to be the savior or most useful nigga in the community. That wasn't ever his job. So I don't even know where this argument is. I don't know if some of his fans came up here and said he was very useful, but no, he was never tasked by anybody to save the community.
Then why are you saying he helped the community?
So you can agree that. Wait 1 second.
Where did I say that?
I was making that point. I think.
Where did I say that?
Wait 1 second. Then we can agree that this man was useless? Because if you're not useful, you're useless.
Absolutely
We can
not.
agree to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, just as useless as anybody else on YouTube.
No,
I'm
but
not.
not everybody else. Like you can't really. It's
No,
not
Man,
really.
You can't.
It's not an equivalent comparison to make.
I mean,
Not everybody on YouTube has 1 million subscribers. Like, cut the shit.
That's what I was just gonna say.
but
Like,
okay, but that's the thing too. You guys were getting on Dave about 1 million subscribers. I mean, what is 1 million out of 44 million?
no,
Like he never,
He was
like he
growing.
never.
Okay, that's a
It
terrible
doesn't matter
argument.
if he was
you guys
growing
are
or
no
Arguments are
Archer.
terrible.
They're arguing circles around you, dude. Like, use numbers, at least like I attempted to do. Like, you're just using abstractions.
He's
and
not
we're
really
talking
saying
about-
much of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm
has
saying.
nothing to
He's
say.
agreeing with you
Like,
guys
it's true,
He has
while he
no
argues
point.
against you.
He
I
has
don't
no
understand. Jed made a
viewpoint.
good
Bro,
point. I
okay.
responded to it. Like, we were having
Bro.
a
No
decent dialogue
sense.
before arguing.
Okay, listen. No,
What's
you're
up?
mad because I don't think Kevin
What's
Samuels was a hero. I've actually been on
No.
panels with Kevin Samuels. Have you?
I'm on here playing
I
devil's
don't
advocate.
care
You're
if you think he's a
proving their
hero or
point.
not.
So you don't know
care.
Kevin.
Listen,
So
listen.
Oh,
I don't
God,
care
now
if you
listen
think he's a hero
personally.
or not, sir.
I
don't
do.
care if you think he's a hero or not. I care
I
if
never
you
said it hero.
actually pick
Who
a
said anything about a
side.
He was the
hero?
glitch
Take a
in the bed,
stance.
Haran.
Come to the table with a point.
That's
Come
what
to
I-
the point. Come to the table with a point.
Okay,
That's what I
the
was
point.
trying
You've
to
been able
do.
to,
So
to actually do is
The point is he had 1 million
snarky and
subscribers.
throw out a
Not
couple
all
of
of
things
them. Okay.
and behave.
but then you said he was
Really
useless.
watch
So
you
why are
in a
you?
conversation or debate.
He
You're
had
making
no.
the point
So
that he
can
had 1
you
million
provide a
subscribers,
useful point?
but then you're agreeing that he's
Can you
useless.
provide something to the conversation?
I'm agreeing. I'm not
Can
agreeing with
you-
nobody. I'm saying basically he
can
has
you
no.
be-
Oh, Jesus.
Can you
Keep
be
going.
Archer,
useful
you're useless to
in
this
manner?
conversation, and we can't move the conversation forward because you don't have the depth. How about that?
That's cool with me.
Can
I
I say
mean,
this?
the
Can I
point
say
you
this?
got. If can. Okay, go ahead.
Wait a minute, just really quickly. Like, can we stop? Vanilla Ice went diamond. Did anybody on the panel buy his album?
Nope.
Exactly. Thank you. Like,
Wait a minute. Since we're talking about numbers, Tasha K has a million subs too when she talks celebrity gossip. Can we stop acting like a
She
million?
saved the community. Tasha K didn't do shit.
She has 1 million subscribers though? That's
But
what
she-
I'm talking about.
Exactly, and
Please,
she's
let
just
someone
as
else.
she's
Let me
just as useful
Let
as
me
Kevin.
finish. You're not going to talk over me, sir. So you might as well let me finish and then you can rebut, okay? My point is when people say such and such has 1 million subscribers, it is not hard to do, especially in the Black community, if y'all are talking shit about each other. It is not rocket fucking science. I keep saying this over and over again. I could start a page tomorrow and bash Black women all day and all fucking night, and you Black men will be up my ass. Okay, it is not rocket science. And I'll be at 1 million subscribers in 1 or 2 years. Easy. Tasha K did it. Kevin Samuels did it. There are people right on their tails on their way to do it. Mona Scott Young has #1 shows on reality TV. 50 Cent has the #1 shows in Black households. His shows are about drug dealers and fucking gossip and drama in the Black community. It is not rocket fucking science. Stop talking like, well, he had 1 million followers. He must have been special. It is easy to do in our circles, in our community, if you are peddling dysfunction. So Tasha K got 1 million. Kevin Samuels had 1 million. What is their content? Stop trying to act like this shit was hard to do. We can all do it. Everybody on this panel can do it if you use the same content. There are 35 million channels on fucking YouTube. Kevin had one and he got 1 million followers, and he did it by going infamous for bashing Black women. That's what Mona Scott Young does. That's what 50 Cent does. Like, cut
May
it
I
out.
respond when you're done?
Who's
When
talking?
you're done. David, when you're done though. I didn't want to.
Go ahead. I'm done. I'm done. What's up,
Okay.
Reed?
So when Kevin first passed, I was trying to put a finger on why I thought that he wasn't. I took a step back and just kind of tried to get a bird's eye view of his impact. And if anyone in here has played sports, we're all pretty good-looking, fit people from what I've seen of everyone. Like you can't name a good coach you've had that didn't push you out of your comfort zone. And different coaches have different styles, and those fit different people. There are people who go viral for being vitriolic and hateful, and they resonate with vitriolic, hateful people. And there are women and men that have that effect. But I don't think that's 100% of what Kevin was, which is why I came up here, because a lot of you guys seem to have similar views on him. So I wanted to give some pushback. There's a lot that I disagree with Kevin on, and we can get to that later. But I don't want to just this to be an echo chamber of people who are against his beliefs. So I think Kevin's coaching style, and again, he went beyond an image consultant because of the advice he started to give people. Image consultants don't make comments like the ones you guys have quoted him on. So that's a fair point. But it's those coaches that push you out of your comfort zone that cause people to make changes that they otherwise wouldn't have made. And I heard women go on his show and say, I ended up getting back with my baby daddy because I realized that I had made the mistake. There are plenty of times the baby daddy's toxic, millions of them out there, but a few of them realized they made the mistake. And I know statistics on, I don't know if can I say abuse on here? On child abuse from the biological father versus the non-biological father. And it's astounding the difference, how the rate jumps when it's not the biological father in the house. So I think it's good. I think a lot of times when that happens, it's good. He'd encourage families to get back together. And so I think what Kevin did was, it's hard enough to be that coach to one person and inspire one person to change, but Kevin was that coach for he was going to become that coach for an entire culture. And I'm not saying the entire Black community. I'm saying the people that found themselves in the manosphere. And it can be a very toxic environment. I'll even lend an olive branch here. Hurt men, they respond differently. I think hurt people hurt people. And that goes for men as well. And hurt men are disproportionately drawn to the manosphere because of what they talk about in the manosphere. So you'll get a lot of toxicity in the manosphere. You'll get a lot of incels in the manosphere, but that's not all it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't listen to them. There are smart men who want to do well for their community that find themselves there because they just don't they could just be watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and end up in the manosphere and not even know what the manosphere is. So it's not just incels and toxic people, although there are a lot of them there because they end up there because they got hurt.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on, David. Are you telling me that affluent, economically mobile, well-to-do men are listening to Kevin Samuels? Is that what you're proposing?
Yes, of every profession. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
1.4 million people. They're not all jailbird, criminal, women abusers.
Okay. But Kevin Samuels was not the manosphere. He was never the manosphere.
He was one of the largest channels in the manosphere.
Nobody said that he was the manosphere. But if you really think that well-to-do men are sitting around listening to an image consultant in heels, in the dark, sipping pop with a straw, if you really think that they have the time, let alone the energy, to sit around listening to a closeted homosexual man, unless they too are closeted and homosexual, that's a different story. But if you really think that, then I don't know what to tell you. Because and truly, the well-to-do men are shaking and moving. They don't have time to be on YouTube.
That's quite the broad brush, and there are plenty of them that he'd bring on his show and to his meetups. All of them make well over 6 figures when he would do his meetups. So I mean, what I don't think you realize. I mean, you're kind of painting with a broad brush to think that 1.4 million people can exist anywhere and categorize them as no lives because you don't agree with.
That's not what I said. I said affluent. I said affluent. We know his demographic was
intelligent.
We know his demographic was largely black. Are you saying that those black men were mostly well-to-do?
Wait.
Oh, it depends on what your definition of well-to-do would be. If it's over 6 figures, then probably not, because that's like only 10% of the population, and even less if you're talking about the black population. But there were plenty, and those are the ones that I'm listening.
Let's say well-to-do men, affluent. Let's say affluence is 6 figures and up. You really think they are going to sit around and listen to an image consultant?
I think what Kevin says will resonate with 6-figure men just as it would with any other group.
But that's not what that's not what I asked you. When men of means need advice, they're going to go to real consultants. They'll pay people to tell them what to do and where to go. That's why they're in the position that they're in the first place. They had the guidance already.
Yeah, so I think you would have had to have known more about, like, of all the people here, I think the people that dislike Kevin know the least about his network. The people who have been in his, I've seen toxic people in the manosphere. I've seen them on his, streams, in the chats. They're there. I'll acknowledge that, but I'm not going to paint them with a broad brush. Like, I think you guys are underestimating the manosphere. I even agreed with you guys in that it is there, and that incels and toxic people are disproportionately drawn to the manosphere, because that's one of the few ways men feel like they have to deal with a lot of the pain. They like it's bad that men don't utilize things like therapy as much as women do because of stigmas and all that. We don't have to get into that stuff.
David,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question, bro?
Quick, let me interrupt really quick. I have to welcome Tawana G to the panel. Now the three-headed goddess on the panel.
I wanna boo.
Does the panel mind if I ask David a question right quick?
Hold on a minute. If you don't know who the three-headed goddesses are, it is I, and Alicia, and Tawana G. So welcome, Tawana G. Welcome, Little Pressure. Welcome, Reese. I want to be fair. I got some people in the back who want to come up on the panel, but I am full. But I want to be fair. I know Reese is up here, Little Pressure's up here, and we haven't heard from you two, and then we have Tawana G. So Reese and Little Pressure. I know, Reese, you were here first. Do you want to go, or do you want Little Pressure and Tawana G to go?
But Jen, I want to drop down real fast so you can make room for someone. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop down too.
Good night,
Thank you so much.
Have a great night, man.
Can I?
Look, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I'll let the young boy go before me. I just wanted to address him real quick about the comment he made earlier about how you shutting Haran down, or whatever. What you don't know?
Reese.
No, I'm not gonna attack the brother. I'm not gonna attack the brother.
No, I was about to comment on that. Just give me a second, right quick. Now, look, listen. Now, what he did, and what he said, and how he behaved, is a clear example of the kind of mentality and behavior that Kevin Samuel's followers usually have. People who stay so placed in their ego, they think that, they're supposed to, at any given time, they're supposed to see a man behave in a violent manner if they think he's being, quote unquote, checked by a woman. I'm going to state this one time. I don't have flat out drawn out arguments with Jen, nor do I have flat out drawn out arguments with Anna, nor do I have these kind of arguments with Wanda. Reason being that I'm nobody's lapdog puppy. I'm not weak in the knees. When these women speak, there is a particular degree of respect. There is a particular degree of understanding on both sides, and people can behave like actual adults. And that's one of the reasons why we're having the gender wars. Because we can't sit down and have particular conversations and be on opposing sides of the aisle without there being mudslinging, yelling, sarcasm, and people believing that there's supposed to be this display of ego and machismo. I don't need to explain that, brother. I'm a man regardless. When I shut my computer down, I'm a man, and when I turn it on, I'm a man. I don't need to sit here and beat on a woman to actually display my manhood. Now, thank you. That's all I really had to say.
Reese, what did you?
Can I ask David a question right quick?
Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second. I also wanted to educate the brother. Like, I've been on at least 24 panels with these people, right? And when I go on somebody's channel, I always check their old videos out to see what they're about. See if I want to go in there, first of all, or if I would be welcome. And I noticed that these people on here have been on here long before me and been on a lot of panels. So what you got here is like a little family. You know what I mean? And we poke fun at each other. And so you might hear some things up here, but everybody up here loves each other. It's like a little family up here. So you might have came in with you're new to the channel apparently. So that's what it is up here. It ain't nobody shutting nobody down, and they tell me to shut up all the time.
We love you, Reese.
Great job, Reese. Can I talk to David right quick?
Hold on, Archer, because we have the lady on the panel. What's up, Tawana G?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
What's up, y'all? I've been listening the whole time, but I got family and all kinds of stuff. But I was like, I gotta log in and talk about some things that y'all kind of addressed mostly everything. But I want to say this, that I think that we created this culture, or even not us, but Kevin Samuels kind of created this culture where people are obsessed with calling people like feminine and masculine energy. Like they are obsessed with it, right? And I think that what's wrong? Oh, somebody needs a mute. Like, yo, we going in your car? Okay. Um, what people don't understand is that people have analyzed the analytics for Kevin Samuels, and to Annalicia's point, a lot of the people who follow him are women, and specifically they're Black women. Like they found that a large percentage of his followers are Black women.
70.
So,
Yeah.
so if you looking at analytics, and so whatever, I don't remember the guy, he said that these high value men are following him. That's not true, right? The analytics shows that there are a percentage of men following him for sure, but we definitely know the men that are following him are not considered high value. It's men who want to be, right? Like who are earning to be. I mean, yeah, he might have some here and there. But Black women, I think Black women specifically should learn how men see them and how they feel about them. I think we missed that in this whole conversation. We're sitting here, we're following Kevin Samuels, you're listening to how men feel, but instead of actually saying, okay, this is a problem. Like these men, they don't have any value for actual biological women. Like they don't respect natural things about women. Like that is the stuff that they're disparaging and talking about and criticizing us for, right? Instead, what we do is we internalize that and we take it as constructive criticism and we use it to kind of make ourselves even like more insecure about who we are, what we do, our positions in life. And so a lot of it to me is like Black women who support his message. And I think we kind of, yeah, we can blame Kevin Samuels, but he doesn't make Black women follow him. You know, he doesn't make anybody follow him. Why do we continue to do that? I think that's a huge point beyond everything else that you guys already talked about, is why do women who flock to him and think that what he's saying is actually going to help them progress in life? And even if those 7 marriages did happen, you got to measure success, happiness, all kinds of things in marriages that we haven't been able to even see that materialize before we can even judge whether it's an impact positively on the community or not. So I think that we kind of missed the mark. Black women in general, like we missed the mark with what we look at as support, because we're so used to being humiliated, embarrassed, dehumanized. But we go to those platforms and we jump on those bandwagons. Like you said, mega churches. I mean, we support the people who humiliate us, who dehumanize us, who make us look the worst. And no one stands up for us. No, like absolutely. We have like 1 or 2 men on the panel out of every man who's come on the show who supported KSI. So you see that it's like very slim that we're going to get the support of, okay, yeah, this man is dangerous to women. And it is a very dangerous message. I don't know what people were missing. Women were encouraging abuse, physical abuse against women. He was saying, if there's a stepdaddy in the house and your daughter says that, he touched you, don't believe the daughter, believe the man. Like he said that specifically to a woman.
Facts.
Like, it's specific. And for anybody to sit on here and say, because he told somebody to go to therapy, he was a positive man, but all of the other things we're just to disregard. Oh, don't listen to your kids if she say somebody touched her, because that's crazy. Like, don't let no kid get between a man and a woman. These are the messages that people ignore.
He said children lie all the time. I do remember he did say that.
He said children
Okay.
lie all
Was he talking about the case in Atlanta that was hot in the news?
Who cares about that one case? We know.
Okay, I know. I'm not saying that all kids lie, but
What I'm
he
saying
was
is-
referring to
Yeah,
a
but I
news
know.
article.
I was
And that's a
kind of
good point though.
I was kind
Regardless,
of
you're right.
finishing.
You should
Okay, I was finishing my point. Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I know that y'all want to chime in. I hit some hot topics, but I'm going to be wrapping up in 1 minute. Trust me. And then secondly, this whole idea of femininity, like this idea of femininity is so interesting because Black men don't even realize that the entire concept comes from white women, right? Like how they see white women, the standard of femininity is white women. I've even heard a man say, like, oh, Marilyn Monroe is like the like top of this femininity expectation. And so for Black women to hear this, they want you to be like a suicidal mental case. Like that's literally their idea of femininity. And so like that's what they want. They want us to be suicidal mental cases that sleep with married men. And they think that's feminine. And this is what they say. And so they not only do they say stuff like that, but they don't even realize that they use the trans argument against women. Like, oh, well, you can do that. Like, you can teach femininity to anybody. So that's why trans women think, oh, I can steal these men because they say anyone can learn to be a feminine woman. So we can learn to be feminine women and we can be better than women. They put the argument out there. And I just think that before we sit here and praise people, because we always need this leader in our community. It's like, what in the hell? Why do we need one leader that's going to lead us to the kingdom? I don't know what the hell we need this for, but we do. And before we start doing that, why don't you listen to complete messages? We can't sit here and say, oh, he said this one good thing, so he's the king. No. Like, that is ridiculous. And I think we need to stop that. I don't care life or death. We need to be clear about messages that people put out there.
No discernment whatsoever.
I didn't know that. Hold on one second. I did not know that he said not to believe children.
Yes.
Who are first of all, if you know anything about the way that the reporting works, statistically, if you know anything about that, you know that A, they're underreported, and you know that B, women and children are more likely to lie to protect their abuser out of fear. This is statistically the reality. So the fact that he could say that, and you have people like David coming up here saying absolutely anything, sir, I'm going to need you to run into traffic. Like, it's enough already. I had no idea that this was something that he was also saying.
Oh yeah.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Yo, can I go for a minute?
And crime in the Black community is already underreported. It's already underreported. They're more likely to lie because out of fear.
Okay.
But
so you're for kangaroo courts then?
Just for context, I believe she was mentioning OTF rapper Dodie Lowe. I believe his girlfriend accused him of touching her kid, but then later on it came out to fruition that it was a lie. But again, I do agree with the ladies. The same man could be able to pressure the defendant, and the person could probably drop the charges. So
Little Pressure, is that your name? Can
Yep.
do you see how problematic? Just listen to what Anna just said. That because crime is underreported, especially sexual abuse, right? Do you understand how problematic it is to spread a message that maybe your child is lying when they tell you something like that? Do you not understand the implications or the impact that could have? Because
it's blaming the victim. It's blaming the victim.
Listen, it can go too far either way.
That's what I'm saying. It's disgusting. And maybe everyone didn't just know about the OTF situation, right? Maybe people really are just thinking about it like, hey, maybe my daughter is lying. And then it came out that one of his followers, her daughter, right, had been taken advantage of by her husband since she was 8 years old. And this whole thing was investigated. And this woman, the mother, is an avid follower of Kevin Samuels. And she's using his words to say, well, yeah, she was so fast and she slept with my husband. She slept with your husband?
Stop.
She's 8 years old. Stupid
Okay.
woman. But that's what I'm saying. There's examples.
And Alicia.
Just like you have examples on the other side, there's examples on the flip side.
Absolutely disgusting.
But yeah, you made a great point. And Alicia added to your point. He then added to her point, and now you're reinforcing your point without any pushback. This is just an echo chamber.
No,
I said it could go too far
it's not
either
an
way.
echo chamber. We all know, we get it. You liked the man. You felt like he had something great to say.
No. See, now you're going to paint a straw man for you to argue against.
Married. You felt like he helped remake baby mothers and baby fathers. Like, slap yourself. We heard you.
And I use statistics.
Really quickly, David. Let me say something.
Go ahead, Jen.
When you talk about, that's another word I think is overused, echo chamber. If you are a fan or not of Kevin Samuels, you literally sat in a room with a man who had 1 million followers and all had the same fucking opinion and worshipped him. Why does a panel of 9 people, all of a sudden it's an echo chamber? It's 8 people. It's an echo chamber.
I'm trying.
We're all wait. Let me finish. We're all
go ahead.
opining from all our points of view. We have different points of view, believe it or not. The way I feel about Kevin Samuels is different from how Annalisa feels. Is different from how Tawana G feels. As far as the women opining, so I don't get the echo chamber. You watch Kevin Samuels.
Elaborate?
That was an echo chamber of hundreds of thousands of people in his chat. Yeah, Kevin, that's true. So if that didn't bother you, this really shouldn't bother you. So
I'd be happy to talk about what I disagree with him on. I mean, I disagree with him on that it should take 6 months.
After that comment, David, you need to like throw in the towel.
No, listen. This is not encouraging intellectual debate. Annalisa, you agreed with her point. You added on to it. Little pressure added on to your point. Jen made a good point, and then you personally attacked me. That's immature. Let me make my point.
Slap yourself.
And you told me to jump in front of a car.
Yeah, do it. I said traffic.
Come on, let's have some intellectual conversation. I'll take that hit.
I'm having a conversation with you.
You're not making the people on your side look any better. I was going to say,
but no, hold on. This is the problem that I have. You think because Kevin Samuels wanted people to resonate with him, you think that anybody on YouTube, I'm not him. I don't care if you agree or align with what I think or feel. I don't care if you like the way that I speak, my cadence. I don't care. You understand? Like, this is YouTube. This is not what I do for a living. You think that everybody on YouTube, this is what they do for a living? No, that's not the truth. So
you're telling me what I think. I'm trying to have an intellectual debate.
You don't have to like it, David.
She made a couple good points.
Yes, but David, can you focus on what we said instead of kind of how we say it?
I'm trying to, and then she told me to jump in front of a car.
And I still want you to jump in front of multiple cars. I said run into traffic.
Okay. Can we get past the car thing? Can we get past the car thing?
Defend a man who's indefensible.
I got some advice for David.
Wait.
Look, he's just gonna jump onto what you're saying.
No, I'm not. Listen.
No, dude. Let me respond to her point. Otherwise, you guys are just gonna make 5 more points.
Yeah.
Back.
Go ahead.
So you said, you made a good point, but my pushback would be it can go too far either way. If it goes too far one way, that it wasn't too far in the past, that's worked against the Black community, and that was when people were jumping to believe false or alleged white victims of Black crime.
Right.
It's innocent until proven guilty for a reason. If a kid says they're being touched, that should be investigated immediately because it's rare enough that they even say anything, as Annalisa said. But when you go too far that way, you start getting people
but hold on, no, David, no,
Johnny
David,
Depp and Amber Heard trial is what you get.
David, let me tell you something about the Black community. That's not true for the Black community. And in fact, the Black community has not self-corrected with respect to reporting crime or self-reporting. We're not even seeking therapy at the same clips and rates as other groups of people, first of all. So there hasn't really been a correction in the Black community. It's still underreported. So you can talk about, I don't care about what white people used to do.
Doesn't matter. It's innocent
I'm talking
until
about
proven guilty, no matter
being
what the crime.
perpetuated and perpetrated in the Black community by Black people.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it should be
David, were you
investigated. I'm
finished?
agreeing. I just don't like when people's lives start getting ruined.
Right, but that, and I'm
because of
telling you that
allegations.
that's not what's happening. So
Right.
you need to
Okay.
get that out of your mind. The fact that you
Yeah.
think that is your way of justifying the argument.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
telling
when that
you,
mom- no,
don't
so when
die
that
on that
mom-
hill because that's not
So
an
when that
argument
mom
that you
told
want to
that
have.
child to tell the
You
judge
don't
that she
want to
was being
have that
touched
argument
when she wasn't,
It's
we should
statistically
have just jumped on her side.
untrue. It's
Yo,
a
can I say
white
something real
lie.
quick? Can I say something real quick? Listen, this is why you have to believe an accusation when a woman or a child is saying that someone touched them inappropriately. Because I used to feel that way a little bit, not as strongly as you did. Here's the thing. You got people that lie. Women, kids, boys, men, whoever. And about being touched or whatever. But if someone says it, you have to believe it. Because here's what you have. If you don't believe it, right, you might have a situation where someone was raped. And if you do believe it and they're lying, all you have is a liar. No one's been hurt. You see what I'm saying? So that should make you understand. You have to believe it at first.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
we agree
Because
then.
of the,
I'm saying
this is the way the world is. People lie. You know what I mean? And as far as as far as Kevin Samuels goes, like I told you on your last show, Jen, you know I was on the fence with him because I was way behind on his content, and I always thought that he did more good than bad. But I went on a Divisive live stream and a manosphere live stream, and I saw clips of what Wanda was talking about. He made a questionable comment about a child accusing someone of touching them. They didn't show the whole clip, and then, you know, I got in a lot of trouble for asking about context and all. So I got away from that. I let them dog walk me because I deserved it. That right there made me step away from this whole Kevin Samuels conversation for a minute, because that's something I wouldn't have said, okay? At any point in my life. In a state of Ray-Rayism, I wouldn't have done that. That's questionable right there. So that's something to look at. Even if you're a staunch fan of his, I don't know if that was a slip of the words or if he's a psycho or what. But if you hear it, I mean, that should send you running. You know what I mean? I never needed. I'm not as updated on his content as everybody else. I looked at him before because he had buzz. He kind of took over YouTube overnight, so you couldn't miss him. You know what I mean? But I never needed the Manosphere niggas or Kevin Samuels or none of them. You see what I'm saying? It's just a clown show to me. I watch it the same way I watch Jerry Springer, and that's it.
Facts. And can I just say something? But Tawana, can I just say something before you say? Because I do agree with you. I think it's very dangerous that like a lot of the men that are in the panel or even on the chat, they don't realize that we grew up in rape culture, and even though Kevin Samuels is not into that level, I feel like I get a little bit of a Sharia law vibes, because when men in America bring up, oh, in a third world country we could treat women like this, we could do this to women, and you know, it's not a good example, because
Exactly.
what you're trying to say is let's dumb them down, let's bring it back to how society used to treat women, and I'm not for that, because at the end of the day, it's like you know, going back to him even saying, hey man, don't believe the kids. If you say that and it's a slip of the tongue, come out and say, I apologize for saying that. But he didn't. He just kept going as if nothing happened. So if people are willing to cover up for men like this, just to justify violence against women and to, you know.
Oh my gosh, dude, you took it 10 steps further
No,
than it was.
he didn't.
All
He
I said
actually
was it
didn't.
could go.
You don't realize
it could go.
the implications of
No.
what you're lying.
I need to respond to low pressure because he just addressed me. Give me 20 seconds. All I was saying is it could go too far one way or another. You don't want to get to the point where you are assuming the accuser is lying.
David, I'm going to say this. I just have to say this to you, and then I have to jump off because
okay, go ahead.
late.
Go ahead.
What you're saying, I'm telling you that is not the problem in the Black community, and therefore it should not be an argument that you align yourself with. Because what I'm telling you is, statistically speaking, historically speaking, that is not the case. What you should be saying is, you know, I don't want people to not believe. If you want to talk about what resonates and what's statistically accurate and what's a reality in the Black community, your argument should be, as a Black man, or a biracial man, it should be, you know, I don't want people to not be believed, right? Like, I don't want people who have been victims, who have been victimized in any capacity, to feel like they can't speak out against their abuser, and if they do, that they wouldn't be believed. That should be the argument, because that's what is happening. That's the temperature of the room, and it's going over your head. You're dying on the hill of, I don't want people to go too far one way or the other way, but they're not going too far the other way. They're going too far.
That's your
the
bias.
way
You just
that
showed
I'm
me your bias
saying,
right
which
there.
is underreporting and actually not reporting at all. That's the problem in the Black community. It's not that you have all these people in abundance coming out and lying. That's not the problem in the Black community. You bringing it up brings some validity to it as though there is some truth to it. And I'm telling you, it's not. The pendulum hasn't swung on the other end yet. It hasn't even corrected itself.
She's strawmanning me now, though. She's taking what I said and taking it 3
Black
steps
community
further.
hasn't even corrected it. There's no self-correct
But
in
you're
the
wrong
Black
for saying
community
it's
when it
bias.
comes to reporting crimes and when it comes to victims and being victimized. So that's not an argument, is what I'm saying. I'm saying, legally speaking, there's no argument.
You need to look
Statistically speaking, there's no argument. There's no one saying the pendulum has swung on the other end, and we're having an influx. We're having people come out, and then it's being proved that they weren't victims. That's never historically. It's not been a problem amongst Black people. Well,
And you are
Black on Black
slowly
crime,
eroding
that's
innocence
not
until
the
proven guilty.
argument. It's not the issue.
He
Leave
can
it
look
alone.
at the FBI. He can look at the FBI statistics. He can look at police.
No, but Juana, the problem is him saying that is giving validity where validity doesn't live and doesn't belong, and statistically is irrelevant and abysmal.
David, do you understand that? David, do you understand that?
Right.
Yeah. So can I try and sum up her point to make sure I understand her point before I respond to it? Because she's changing my point and then arguing against her new straw man of my point. So it's my understanding that she's saying that because so much rape and abuse goes underreported, and is just never known about and not included, obviously, in the statistics, that the few times that a kid is saying that they're being touched or abused or whatever, I'm not going to use that word, that is so statistically insignificant that it is disingenuous to jump to their defense. And so that's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
In order for you to have a defense, you have to have a case. And I'm telling you that those are not cases that are being dealt with in the Black community. That's exactly what I'm saying to you.
So I just repeated your point to you as you said it perfectly, and you're just repeating your point. So I would like to respond.
Please.
Were you done, though? I told you I'd let you finish because you had to go. So if you had anything else, I'll let you go again.
Before anyone goes, super chat break. Thank goodness.
All right.
Ill Doctrine, thank you for the super chat, sir. Ill Doctrine says, these dudes say I'm an alpha. They say I'm an HVM. They have no problem treating these claims as though it's true. A child says he touched my privates. They draw the line there. They can't believe that at all.
No, I need to. I need to let.
Why doesn't that nigga come up here?
Listen, you see how I was going to respond and then.
I know.
That's what the last 5 people said when I tried to respond. Literally 5. I just want to say one thing. So now I have 5 points to argue against instead of 1, because there's only one of me. But go ahead.
Well,
I just want to say one thing.
That's because this is in an echo chamber, David. That's because this is in an echo chamber. See how you have
it's 5 people agreeing with each other. 5 people agreeing with each other and making different points. See.
But you wouldn't be here if it was an echo chamber. You wouldn't be here at all. Like I would have kicked you out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys letting me up here in the first place. And I'm not resorting to personal attacks. Otherwise, of course, you'd kick me off. Like I'm trying to have, your guys' arguments are going to be made stronger, if anything else, having someone that disagrees with you up here. Iron sharpens iron. So. And I'm not
gonna cry about
attacking you.
that we disagree with you though, because that's what you're doing. You're just kind of crying about the fact that we disagree with you.
No, see, that's a personal attack. I was saying
though, you keep repeating that. Okay, you want to put it on our forehead, maybe.
But
put it on a sign.
I don't think you guys realize the evil that can happen when we start eroding the rule of law and innocent until proven guilty. What if we were to listen to what Annalise is saying and take that and run with it? It would be you're innocent until proven guilty unless you're a woman or child.
That's a fact, but it's the claim that I was. The point about the claim is what I was making. You believe it.
Wait a minute.
I don't have a response. I think you're right, but yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute.
Statistically, Annalicia is 100% Correct. It seems like you're not accepting that, David. Have you been accused of something in your life that you didn't do, and this is why it's triggering you? Because statistically, she is correct. They are underreported. Okay, the black uncle that's a rapist in our communities is a fucking joke. It is a stand-up joke. Okay, we make fun of the guy still being able to come to the barbecue. It has not been, pedophilia has not been a big deal in our communities, and I'm talking about black and brown. It is a constant, okay, and it's been that way for a very, very long time. So why are you worried about the one or two kids that accuses somebody of something and then it's found out that the kid was lying? Why are you so hell-bent on that?
I'll answer that.
Wait a minute. When hundreds of thousands of children are raped all the way up until their late teens, what is your issue if you haven't been accused of this? Why are you dying on this hill? It sounds
I'm not dying on the hill. The whole reason we're here is because Kevin was talking about an article in which that rare instance happened, and that was being used against him as if it's his broad brush belief. It's not his broad brush belief. He was talking about one article. That's why we're here. Now we can go back to
what he said. That's how he said it.
Now we can go back to the issue. I repeated
Can
Annalise's point.
I say this though, because I think that what happens with you guys as well is, even though there's millions of cases unreported, right? Or we can just imagine how many. If you just look at the cases that are reported, and then you look at the false reports, you see how low the percentage is, because there still is something that identifies when there are false reports made for rape, right? They identify that. Yes, it is. Look at the FBI.
No, listen, it's very rare.
Oh my God!
Because proving a negative is hard. I know what your point is, and I repeated Annalise's point to her verbatim.
The percentages are low.
Listen. Now I'm just getting talked.
That's all I'm saying.
I want to point out that I repeated Annalise's point back to her verbatim, and she couldn't say that I mischaracterized it in any way when all she's done is mischaracterize my points. And that's what you guys kind of are doing right now. I just want the law to be applied equally to everyone, and I want to get better at finding and convicting the true perpetrators of rape without sending people to jail or ruining their careers if they're innocent from accusations. That's all I want to do. I don't care whether it's men, women, children. I just want equal application of the law. And when we start saying so many women rape, so many men rape, by the way, if you just want to look at receiving abuse, men receive a lot when they're young too. And yes, women are abused. Yes, it's underreported. Yes, they don't report it.
Because I didn't talk about just.
No, but Tawana, can we just go back to what he just said? Can we just go back to what he just said? Because yes, men do get raped. And then one example could be Penn State. In Penn State, they had a football team, and Joe Paterno, who was the football coach, was told back in the 90s, hey man, your assistant coach is touching the kids. But guess what? It was more important that we were winning games, so nobody cared about the kids. But yeah, men do get touched by other men. That's another thing men don't even talk about. Yeah, women and like teachers sleep with the kids. But a lot of times we don't acknowledge that men are raping kids, men are raping men, men are raping women.
You don't think we acknowledge that men are the majority of the perpetrators of that?
Can I ask you a question, David?
I think we do.
If you got your arm amputated, if you got your right arm amputated, and you had a paper cut on the left hand, which one are you addressing first? I'm just curious.
Obviously, the right arm. I'll go down. I'll play the game. I'll go down the path. Yeah.
So the underreported, okay, sexual assaults that happen, the molestation, the pedophilia, okay, in our communities, okay, is that arm, is the right arm. It is not the paper cut. It is the right arm. It is actually very rare that someone is accused of something so egregious in our community. It's very rare that it's just an accusation. It's very rare. So I really don't understand why you want to die on this hill when the right arm is the emergency. The children that are being abused is the emergency. The lives that are being ruined is the emergency. That's the emergency. The arm that got cut off, not the paper cut. So I don't really understand if you've never been accused of anything, or maybe you had somebody close to you and you feel like, oh my God, we got to stop doing this. Let me tell you something.
Hasn't happened.
I have males in my life that I love. I have men in my life that I love, that I'm related to. I have friends that I love. Even if one of them was falsely accused, right? I would go through hell and hot water to prove his innocence if he was innocent. But I still know that the underreported and the women and children that are being abused, boys and girls, is way, way, way worse than my friend, my homie, my nephew, my uncle, my man, whoever. I still know that this over here is way worse. So I don't understand why you don't understand that.
I do understand.
Even if I fight hell and hot water to get this person, right, exonerated, I still can't say because this happened to my uncle. I can't say, well, the important thing is that we make sure.
So is a woman being raped more important to address than a man being raped?
I don't understand the question.
Yes. More women are raped. Are raped.
If statistically more women are being sexually assaulted, then that's the emergency. That's the emergency.
I think catching the perpetrators of rape is the emergency. Like, I think maybe when a child is touched because of just the higher degree of helplessness and less agency, that might be.
Wait a minute. The only men that I know are raped, if we're talking about adult men, is prison. So when you say when men are raped, I don't know. Are you talking little boys? Because that's different from men in prison. I don't know any adult males.
I just wanted to understand your philosophy.
Okay.
So I just wanted to.
I'm trying to understand yours because you said when men are raped. What men are raped? Which ones? In prison?
Okay. So are you making the assertion that men are only raped in prison?
Yes.
Okay.
Men, adult males. Can I rape you?
Okay. Yes, it's actually possible. It is very much possible for you to harass or rape me. But I'm not. Listen. What you're doing though is you're pushing me onto it.
I'm not doing anything. We're having a conversation.
No. You're leading it away from what we were talking about.
And it's an echo chamber. Maybe you can't handle the conversation.
My argument was equal application of the law.
Having a discussion. That is what I'm doing. We're having a discussion.
Okay.
I want you to tell me how adult men, are raped continuously or sometimes. Explain it to me.
I can look up a statistic. I can look up the statistic on how many men are raped outside of jail. It's possible.
Outside of being raped by who though?
That's what I'm wondering.
It's possible for a woman to harassment. It's possible for a woman to rape a man. You see how they're letting me talk now because I'm finally where they want me. You sound like Amber Heard's lawyer.
All right. Well, listen. There are situations where women drug niggas and rape them and stuff like that. But
wait a minute.
Listen.
Where did it live from y'all?
Can I say something?
The path that we were going down.
This dude has been talking for a long time. Can I say something, please, real quick, without being interrupted? I think you gotta realize. When you're talking to a child and when you're talking to an adult. And that's the problem with all of these conversations.
And then there's the personal attacks.
Cut him off, man.
Did I say anything about you, sir? Can you please be quiet? I'll let you talk as soon as I'm done.
And there's the passive aggressiveness. You called me.
Okay.
I didn't call you anything. I will listen. I will call you something if you want me to, but I didn't call you anything.
Come on, y'all.
Okay? Check this out. Like I said before, you got to realize when you're talking to children and when you're talking to adults. And the problem with all of this is, even with the Kevin Samuels, is that people are subscribing titles to folks that they did not earn. No, you don't come out being a woman. You don't come out being a man. That's a title that you have to earn. And someone has to check your resume. You have to stand on something to be a man. You have to stand on something to be a tip of the spear. That's what we are. And if you're not that, and you don't have any experience, and you don't know what you're talking about, typically the old school would tell you to go in the back or sit down and shut up and just listen until you get some more information. That's the problem with all of this. See, Kevin Samuels was able to do the classic fake it till you make it, subscribed by most folks in a certain community. Then they let you get away with that garbage until something happens. And you never have to prove yourself. You never have to show. He always talked about showing your work. You have 2 divorces. You died alone. You told women to go die alone and called them fat, but you died of a heart attack. Okay? Nobody ever checks folks' resumes, especially on this internet. And you got to realize when you're talking to a child with no experience and they're talking about statistics online and all this shit, and they ain't never done nothing, you could tell when they start pulling up all these numbers and all this bullshit that don't mean nothing to life, you could tell they have no life experience.
So you got to stop subscribing to these folks and letting them, you know, spew. If they want to spew their garbage, let them do it. But you got to not let them have a foothold and be like, yo, man, look, you got to grow up, son. You grow up a little bit, you experience life a little more. I'm not listening to nobody that live in an apartment about buying no house. Okay? I ain't gonna do it.
I just want to say a few things.
That was a fly ass apartment.
Thank
In terms of what David is saying, you know, what I mean, I understand one point of what he's saying about it not, the pendulum not swinging in the extreme sense, but
It's
you have
still
to
weird,
understand
Haran.
something.
It's still weird.
Still weird. No, 1 second. This is what I'm saying. You see, it's very easy to say those things when you're standing from an objective stance in the situation, when you're not being affected. Now, if that's your kid, if that's your son, I said that this dude that you know or you hang around with touched me, there's not going to be something in you that wants to immediately naturally believe your kid, even without, you know what I mean, a court of law present. I mean, if not, I mean, if my daughter came to me and said, you know, somebody did anything inappropriate with her, you know, yeah, we're going to go down the necessary channels. But yeah, I'm going to fight for my daughter. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and cling to the idea of like, yeah, you know, guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, that's the truth. But that's my kid. And I'm real enough to say that.
Right, but
You know, there is the
once
law.
again,
There is
sir,
the law. One second. There is the law. There is the law. And then there is, you know what I mean, what we do feel, you know what I mean, personally and our own bias. We all have it. This is one of the reasons why, you know what I mean, when a cop is on a particular case that's close to home, they tell him or her to get off of the case because they're not looking at it, you know what I mean, from an objective standpoint. So, yeah, you know what I mean, we can say these things, you know what I mean, what David is saying. I understand what he's saying. But at the end of the day, it's a different, you know, set of marbles when it's your kid, when it's your sister, you know what I mean, or when it's your mother.
or when you understand and you have children. See, a lot of people be talking,
Right.
like I said, you're talking from a place you don't understand because you don't got no, some people don't got kids. And they'll say that, and they ain't never had a
Does
kid,
David
ain't
have
never loved a kid,
David, do you have
ain't never
children?
raised a kid. They don't know nothing about what they talking about.
David, do you
Of
have
course.
a child? David, do you have a child or children? Is he still there?
Now he's quiet.
Okay.
And I want to say this to the chat. Let me say this to the chat. I know that men are raped in prison. I know that men are raped after someone slips them, a prostitute slips them a roofie. And I know that boys are molested up until their late teens. I said that. Do not twist this into, I said it's impossible to rape a man. But the point he was trying to make, in my opinion, was asinine. The comparison between men getting raped and women getting raped, to me, was asinine, because men usually get raped under very interesting circumstances. Either they hired a prostitute, either they're in prison. I'm talking about adult males.
Even in prison, it's gonna take 5 or 6 motherfuckers. There ain't gonna be no one man raping another man. It's not.
But Jen,
teenage boys.
But Jen, check this out. If you get slipped a Mickey by a prostitute, your ass shouldn't have been out there buying no pussy no way. When you buy pussy, you get what you get. Okay? You shouldn't have been out there buying pussy. So you got the result that you paid for. You don't know what you're gonna get when you go out.
He's muted. He's muted.
Just like,
say he's muted.
You don't know what you're gonna get when you go out and you buy pussy. You take that chance. Yes, you just might be raped. You just might be robbed. You just might get killed.
Right.
Wait, did he say bye? What? Wait, no.
I got talking privileges back.
He said, buy the kitty. He said, buy in there. It's dangerous.
Me, ew.
Hey Jen, did you get that funky ass little $2 I sent you?
I did.
Nice.
I did. Why you send me a little funky $2?
I had a bad week on the tips. I was doing a Jewish wedding.
You the type that brings the plates to the barbecue, right?
You can buy smoothie with that, Jen. You can buy smoothie, right?
Not anymore. Today you can't even buy the oranges for a smoothie with $2.
I can buy McDonald's smoothie.
Them Jews is stingy, man. I said it.
I think it's very interesting that we moved to kind of validate what Kevin Samuel said about not trusting your child to this. We limited it to, well, there's a few cases where, you know what, it's not true and it ruins this, you know, the whole person's career and life, etc.
You were here when I said that he was talking about a
I'm
news
telling-
article where
I'm
one of those
telling
rare
you-
instances
Say that.
happened.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right
I didn't
now.
interrupt you.
I was just muted for 5 minutes. and
Okay,
all
but I
you-
didn't interrupt you.
Because you
I'm just
Go ahead.
finishing
I
my-
wouldn't want my
Can I
daughter.
respond when you finish?
I let everybody finish their point. I just wanted to say that it's interesting that we went to that argument to justify why what he said was okay, and we literally are sitting here trying to defend it and say that there was a method to that, and that was positive for the community that underreports and don't report sex crimes in the first place. I think that it's very interesting that our mind goes straight to that, except the exception of the men who obviously are.
I'll tell you where my
Well,
mind
I
goes.
have-
Can
I
I
have
respond
to
to
that.
that, or are
goes,
we gonna do this
Look,
circle jerk
you
thing
put your
again?
hands on my son, and I'm gonna fuck you up. Period.
Well, look at this.
Do you
I have,
think
I
that
have two daughters.
I'm not doing the maybe. I don't know. I'll fuck you up now,
You guys
and I'm
you
gonna
guys
find
made
out
the
later.
mistake. You guys strawman
Okay, I
me.
just listened to that Kevin Samuels
guys
clip,
just-
and I have two daughters, and I just listened to that clip, and the way he phrased the question that he said if me and you were to have a daughter, and our daughter were to come to you and say I looked at her getting out the shower, the way that was framed was that was his biological daughter. If I have two daughters, if either one of my daughters accused me of doing something inappropriate with them, that would be asinine in my mind.
Brother, I like that guy, Kevin. I like that guy, but that comment right there, I can't bang with that, man. That right there was a bad slip of the tongue right there. That was horrible.
And if you got two daughters, and if you got two daughters, and your daughters accuse you of that, whoever had them kids with you should fuck you up.
And he was
that was the crazy thing about the story, though.
What the hell?
No, he said to the lady, if me and you had a daughter.
He said you had a daughter outside of us, and we had two children together.
That's right.
Oh, okay, that's what I misheard. Because what I heard. I was listening while I was listening to y'all, so I was double listening.
Okay,
so
I'm double listening. You need to go back. He said specifically what the hell I just said, okay? He supported. If you look at my daughter when she get out the shower, bro, I got a problem with that. And if
You
she
goddamn
tells
right.
me that you did that, I got a goddamn problem with that.
You
'Cause
goddamn
guess what?
right.
You're in your
Do you see how far we've come from the original conversation? No, that's a whole different scenario.
Man, you ain't even got no kids. You should be quiet. You ain't got no kids. Be quiet.
There you go with your hush, child.
Dave, you
Like,
never
your
Dave,
best-
you
your
have
best-
kids.
your
Y'all
best
never
part-
let him
what
answer
you're
the
talking about.
question. He
Literally
might have
hush
kids.
child.
Y'all never
You
let
don't
him
know
answer
what
the
you're
question.
talking
He
about.
might have
The
kids.
orange motorcycle.
Everybody's talking
Listen,
over each other.
now everyone has to be
Archer,
quiet when I'm
wait.
okay.
Archer, welcome back to the panel. No one's scared of you, honey. There's not.
Oh, that's great because I try not to be a scary black guy. That's awesome.
Okay, good. No,
Okay, so
no one's
orange
scared.
motorcycle right before.
In the back, so I'm trying to be fair to everybody. No one's scared of you here, honey. Okay.
Well, I'm masculine, so it's fine. You know?
What the?
I just wanted
boy.
to
Somebody said that word
respond
and
to orange
triggered it.
motorcycle.
I'm so masculine.
What's his name?
Uh-oh.
King Solo.
What's
David,
orange
go ahead.
motorcycle's name?
Go ahead, David. Go ahead, David. What you got?
So before I was muted, he made the point that I need to come with like information before he went on to say that Kevin died alone and broke. So it's
I
funny.
never said
He
that,
literally
so
told me
pay
to.
attention.
You literally told
So
me
pay
to come with
attention.
information.
I
Kevin
never
died
said
next
that. Pay
to
attention.
a woman. He died next to a woman he cared about, and he was making
Oh,
over
okay.
$100K a month on his
You was
YouTube
there?
channels. Not including his real
So wait a
estate.
minute.
I can't look. You know, when it gets late in the stream, I have a very low tolerance for stupidity. Now he cared about this woman. The police report said, wait a minute, let me finish. The police report said from her own fucking mouth, I met this bitch last night. Last night.
That's what happened. You men do. They care about women in one
Hold
night.
up. Did you hear what his lawyer said?
Kevin told his best friend. Kevin told his best friend that he had been vetting her for months.
You sound insane.
and she
Yo,
came
I'm
and
telling
stayed
you,
with
that's
him.
a child. That's what, see what I'm saying? That's a little
No,
kid. He's a little kid, yo. Only a little kid would believe that shit.
The woman said, listen to me. The woman said out her mouth, I met this Negro last night.
I didn't know that.
These dudes, look at the police report. These
I did not know that.
want to say, no, but Kevin's friend said he was vetting her. Did she forget she got vetted?
Yo, his lawyer said that they had a meaningful relationship for months and were planning marriage and all that shit. So that's crazy.
With a stripper?
I don't know.
She was a stripper.
She was probably paying for pussy
Who
like
said
he
she
always
was a
do.
stripper? Where'd the stripper come from?
The divester said he was a drag queen.
Oh my god.
Yo, I'm gonna have to mute every fucking body. I need a group mute. Listen to me. His lawyer said, his friend said, the roach in the corner said, the rat said, she said, the one that was taking it all night, she said, I met him last night. So you want me to believe the lawyer, the friend, the cousin, his frat? She said, the one that was taking dick all night said, I met him last night. She didn't know his fucking address. She didn't know if she was in a house or an apartment. The bitch had to run out the fucking door to see the fucking apartment number. She did not know him. Y'all sound crazy. Listen to the 911 call. I don't know. Ma'am, are you in an apartment or a house? I don't know. What, ma'am? What's the address? Can you give us the apartment number? I don't know the apartment. Wait, I'll be right back. But now these Negroes want to get on YouTube. He knew her for a long time. He loved it her. He loved it her. He loved a bitch who didn't even know if she was in a house or an apartment. Yes, sound retarded.
That's what high value men do.
Y'all. That sound retarded. So he was in love
there's the
with
straw
a woman
man.
who didn't know whether she was in a fucking apartment or a house and had just met him the night before.
Yeah.
Run the clip backward. I say love.
Her words.
He left his infinity gauntlet and he forgot to snap his fingers and bring
Where did
himself
I say
back.
the word love at, though? This is the straw man.
I don't know where the fuck I am. I met him last night. She said that.
Fucking kid, man.
He said
He's a
care.
fucking child.
So a girl who had a guy die next to her was panicking.
Yeah,
Big
no,
surprise.
and watch this. Anna, what's worse is that they saying that he was paying $7,000 in Atlanta for an apartment, for a 1-bedroom apartment. I guess
that's how much that building costs. Look it up. Look up the address. That's how much that building costs.
That's not Soho, New York. You bugging, bro. 7,000 in Atlanta, that could buy you a mansion.
That's $84,000 a year. $7,000 a month is $84,000 a year.
That's
how much that apartment costs. That's how much. He also had an apartment in New York too. He didn't have one apartment.
You called him broke. You just proved yourself wrong.
Yeah, he had an apartment in New York as well. He didn't just have an
I
apartment.
can't entertain.
Not for nothing, but it is sad to me how desperate, and this is no cap. This is not me being sarcastic or funny. I like being fun, but it is so sad that Black men are so desperate, pining and dying for a leader that they will believe any motherfucker in a suit in a dim room. But this man fix his face and say he died with a woman that he loved. It's so sad.
Dude said he died alone. He didn't die alone. Then you
Wait,
straw
what
man
makes
me.
you think Black men
He didn't fucking die alone. That chick didn't care about him. She didn't care about him, nigga. She didn't care about him. He died alone.
I didn't say she cared about him, buddy.
About that? What the fuck you mean? See,
I said he cared about her.
That's a child that has never had a woman before. See, you talking to a child that ain't never had a woman, so he don't understand what the fuck it means to be with somebody.
Dude, cam up.
You
A
understand
child
what I'm
that
saying?
never had a woman, you're probably
This is a child that's never had a woman before. He probably paid for pussy the same way Kevin did.
Can I just say this? Because I know, David, you know that Kevin Samuels didn't mean literally die with no one else in the room. He meant die without a husband, without a family, without
Yeah.
people who care about you.
And
with a dog.
and he also meant die older than that is
Hey.
the only good point that has been made
Hey
in this
David,
entire
hey
conversation.
David,
And that is a good point.
why
That
did
is
he
a good
Thanos
point.
snap
You
his
literally
finger
are
and bring
coming to
himself
the
back?
rescue and saving Orange Motorcycle every 10
Okay.
seconds.
What
So
I'm
you can't
saying
make
is,
it
Okay.
you're
all he can
trying
do is
to
call me a
say,
child.
you're trying to
Okay.
say,
Hey yo, he should have Thanos snapped his fingers and brought
Yo,
himself back.
David, I'm sorry
That's
you
what he
even
should have
tied
did.
with these girls, bro. But
So
who else in the
listen.
manosphere
No,
do
that's a
you
good
listen
point. Can
to?
I
Who else
respond to
do
your
you
point?
listen to?
can I just hear what he has to say? Because because that was a very literal thing. Like, yeah, he died with a woman in the room. Okay, he didn't
Right. He
technically
died alone.
die alone, but he died
Fucking
alone.
alone.
But his fear
If
was never
let
to
me
be.
ask, can I respond
Bro,
to her? Because she said, let me give me
David,
10
you
seconds.
are.
Tanasha, so okay, Tanasha, say you follow
Tawana.
a YouTube channel like Jen's, just like I listen to Kevin Samuels.
My name is
And
Tawana.
an unfortunate event were to happen, such as Jen
Hello?
passing away,
Are
and
you
then I
hearing
go
me?
on my channel and start relishing in the fact that Jen died
I
alone.
feel like he
Bro.
Tanasha.
You would correct me. You would correct me
You
if I
need
said
to
Jen
say
died
my
alone
name
and
correctly.
if I was morally low enough to relish in Jen dying alone, which I would never do.
Are you
You would
not
come
going to
and
call me
correct me.
Tawana?
Bro, you're not, bro.
You
David,
better.
did you really, David? Did you really?
Just
Did you
just
really?
move on, man. Just move
Okay,
on.
now it's getting weird.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell you think you are.
Do
but
you know
better
by
call me
dying
Tawana.
alone means with some fucking random piece of ass?
That's not.
Yes.
Nobody he loved. Okay.
But he
Well,
never wanted
whenever I
to.
say that he said he saw potential in her and had been vetting her for a long time, you're just gonna call it a lie. So
You're comparing, right? Literally died with a random piece of ass who made him
Oh my god.
and you don't think that
She's
that's
not a
someone
random piece
dying
of ass.
alone in a room with someone who didn't give a fuck about him? That man
That
died alone with a random
So-
piece of ass. That should
Can I
have
can I ask a
we
question
can
while you
argue
and
about
David
the
go back and
definition of
forth?
alone, but what's more obvious is that relishing in someone dying alone is morally low.
If you wasn't such
I would never do that.
If you wasn't
He
such a
told people to go die alone.
if you weren't such a fanboy,
What do you mean?
I mean, what he said,
No,
what he said to
People
people
would
wasn't
call
incorrect.
into his show and he would tell them
To go die
he would
alone. That's
suggest
exactly
to
what he
them,
would tell them.
suggest to them what to do.
That's right.
To make it more likely to find a husband in life, and then
Look,
when they would
he
say,
was
no,
he was on to something, but I don't think he should have said it that way.
You should never tell nobody to go do
Oh
that.
yeah, he
Ever.
definitely was saying
Ever.
it in a way that would
You
go
see how
viral and
he
get
called me
views
right
and
in the
trigger
ass?
people like you.
Yo, Dave,
Absolutely.
David, can you quiet down for 1 second?
David,
real quick?
how about this?
Let
David,
me.
do you think the girl's gonna go to his funeral? Do you think she's gonna show up to the funeral?
Yeah, to finish writing a book.
Or
I mean, does it matter? Does it matter
People
though?
look back in this conversation, and they're going to be disgusted on how normalized it was to relish in the fact that somebody you disagreed with died alone. Period.
Nobody cares
Point
about
blank.
your
We can
moral
argue about the semantics
no,
of what alone
man,
means.
David, you're
We
weird.
can argue about
Yeah,
the
you
semantics
weird
of
as
what
fuck,
alone
bro.
means, but when we get as low
you're
as calling
weird.
someone a child,
Hey, man, you weird as fuck.
You want to call me?
Bro, David, calm down for 1 second. You're letting them drive the conversation. First of all, Kevin never feared dying alone for himself. That's not something as a man you worry about.
Hold on, because y'all are fucking confused.
Yeah.
We do drive the conversation. Okay, that's number one. We do drive the conversation. Okay, so yeah, David knows we're driving the conversation. We are driving the conversation. If you want to drive the conversation, then you have to do it on your channel. He has to do it on his. I don't mind that you guys are fanboys. I promise you, I do not mind that y'all are fanboys. But it's making you delusional. I appreciate that you love that man. I appreciate that he was your godfather. I appreciate all of it. But it is making your mind fucking clouded. If a person dies in a hospital with 4 nurses around him who had no relation to him at all, that person died alone in the hospital. He just had staff there. Kevin Samuels died alone. He just had staff there.
Yeah, staff there.
Okay?
He had the chicky
He just
face.
had staff there.
And I agree with you. I agree with you.
So
I agree with you.
I don't mind that y'all are fanboying, but y'all sound crazy right now. He died alone in a room on a floor with no one he fucking knew or cared for. Do you
She told him,
so
try to live for your mother.
Okay,
on,
but
man.
listen to me right quick.
regardless of what our definition of alone is, it's just low to celebrate.
Instead of David arguing that point,
Nobody celebrated. We just
Can
saying
I-
facts. Nobody
No, you
celebrated.
called
We're
him
telling
alone
you the
and-
truth.
you called him alone and broke.
But it's because he's a fan.
I called him alone. I didn't ever say he was broke. I said he was alone.
If you guys
He
were
obviously
here
had a
talking about
$100,000 heart attack.
listen, you
it was an expensive ass heart attack.
Jen and her friend have to keep jumping in and saving you from your arguments, so maybe just let them do the arguing.
Dude,
hey, look,
I mean, what's wrong with Kevin Samuels dying alone? What's the problem with that? He's not
he told other people to go do it.
Okay, but he never said he would be. Wait, now finish my statement right quick.
So he followed his own advice. That's good. He followed his own advice for once.
Are you gonna please? I'm trying to get a word in edgewise. Please.
I'm with you.
Please.
He followed his own advice. I dig it. I'm with you.
Okay,
All the
guys,
way on that.
Give me 10.
please calm down. Listen, he never said he feared that. The women who called into his show feared that. You understand? Kevin never said, "I don't want to die alone."
He said it. Don't stop trying to martyr this man. Okay.
I'm not martyring nothing.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
He said that to women. So the fact that it happened to him is actually poetic justice. Some people may say.
Yeah.
He asked the women, "Do you want to die alone?" They said no.
He said
And then
you're
he
gonna
called
die
people.
alone with your degree. He really said that you're gonna die alone with your doctor's degree. Like he said that.
And then he called people fat and had a heart attack himself.
He said, buy a dog.
Fat people have heart attacks.
He said, buy a dog because you're going to die alone.
Power of the tongue.
I mean, but he wasn't incorrect.
He should have been on the treadmill instead of running on that hole.
A treadmill wouldn't have stopped that heart attack. Had nothing to do with his weight.
I think he should have bought a dog and then he wouldn't have died alone.
That's fucked up.
I mean, besides weight issues, stress is a big cause for heart attacks, and I can see why a man would be stressful. We're talking to millions of black women across America. That's some stressful shit. I understand that.
And you know what I think, y'all? I think YouTube killed Kevin Samuels.
Right, I agree with that, bro.
I think YouTube killed him.
That man's beard got gray as hell when he last couple years.
And you know what? He never called himself the Godfather. That was everyone else saying that because they had his name in their mouth because of his buzz. It was the popular thing. He became a stock himself. Like if you look around YouTube, the divestors and manosphere guys, their biggest videos have his name in the title, bigger than like celebrities that they talk about and other shit. It's crazy. YouTube killed that man. Whether he had an agenda or whether he was really trying to help people or not, I kind of like the guy, but when I went back and looked at some of his stuff, he's made some questionable comments, and every man on this earth knows what the trigger words are that you don't say around women. Regardless of how you feel, there's about 5 or 6 words that you can say that you are guaranteed a negative response from some women. I stay away from those words. You know what I mean? I saw a couple occasions where he didn't. So, you know, I'm on the fence with it. I still like the guy, but come on now. You can't be mad at the sisters.
Nothing he said was incorrect. They're just mad because everything he said was correct.
But his delivery, dog, listen, his delivery was like, he knew in his mind. He's my age, you know what I mean? We're savvy and we have experience. We know what gaslights women. You see what I'm saying? He said things that I wouldn't have said. That's all I'm saying.
No, Reese, we not mad. What is it? I don't understand what he's saying. What am I mad?
Basically, he made a correct point. He just didn't say it in the right way.
I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the women that are dancing on his grave and you know, drinking to it.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. It is ridiculous, but I get it, man. This is how women work. They don't like hearing certain shit. And women are dragons, man. They hear a certain thing, it's over for you. There's no more love there. I don't want that on me.
Nothing worse than a woman scorned. And if you say something negative about these women, they will be scorned.
We meet you with your feminine energy. If y'all meet us with feminine energy, we meet y'all.
Yo, Archer is the biggest cheerleader, and he only talks when another dude talks.
I'm trying to jump in. I've been trying to jump in the whole time. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise. I mean, I don't believe Kevin Samuels said anything wrong at all.
He had a lot of good points.
Yeah, especially about the dying alone part. Now, it is ironic that he ended up dying alone, but he never, even as a man, even as me, as a man, I know I'm probably gonna die alone because I can die 15 minutes from now. It's not really my fear to make sure somebody's next to me when I'm dying. So I get what he was saying to the women as far as how they feel and how their sensibilities about being with somebody later in life. As a man, you know, I could die tomorrow. I could die right now. Who knows? Like, it ain't really that big of a deal for him. But what he was saying to the women was, listen, if you want to date Derrick Jackson, there's only one Derrick Jackson. And if you just chasing that one man, you probably gonna die alone.
The cheater.
How do you know what his fears were, Archer?
Right.
What?
How do you know what Kevin Samuels' fears were of dying alone or not? How do you know that?
Just as much as you know it was his fear, because he never said it wasn't. He never said he was scared of dying alone.
He doesn't.
No. We're not doing that. Don't put words in my mouth.
He
Don't
doesn't.
put words in my mouth. I
I didn't put no words in your mouth. I said I know as much as you
No,
do.
you said as much as you know.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know anything about that man's fear. So
Neither do I.
Your point
Exactly.
because you said he wasn't afraid of it.
Right.
How
I
do you
feel
know
like
that?
any other man.
Afraid. So how do you
Yes,
know?
like any other man. Okay, time out. He never said on his panel, "I don't want to die alone." Personally, he never said that in any one of his things.
But you don't know he wasn't afraid of it.
I mean, I don't know for sure if he wasn't afraid of dying alone.
So why you say
I mean, he.
That's it. That's it.
Because
Thank
I'm
you.
saying
You don't
as
have
a,
to go no further.
I'm saying in the context in which he was saying the stuff he was saying.
No.
Like no man sits up here and worries about they're gonna die alone, especially a black man. You ain't gonna worry about that. You know, like come on.
How you
I've
gonna
been in
talk
life in
for
that situation
every
before, bro.
man?
No, BS.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah,
First
this
of
dude
all,
will never,
Archer, when he
never.
ain't nobody saying
Specific. It is not gender specific.
It is gender specific because we
It
want
is not.
different things.
It is not. See what I'm saying? The kids, man. Y'all gotta start with the talking to the
this
kids.
is so stupid because nobody's saying that you're
The
not
babies.
that you're gonna you could die in a car accident and
Right.
nobody is around. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that you're dead and you don't have legacy. You don't have a family. You don't have someone that loves you. So stop being so damn literal. Y'all know.
But wait. But who said he didn't have people who loves him? They
That's
just
a
weren't
fair
there.
point. I'm gonna respond since
Listen.
Archer's responded like 5
Hello,
times. Go ahead.
Archer. Listen, because he used to highly value marriage, what he was saying was Black women are going to die without a partner, without someone who loves them, without a husband.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Hello, Archer. Can you
Archer,
please
bro.
be quiet?
Because
Now,
guys like you would throw money in a super
that's
chat.
right.
That's why he was there.
And Kevin Samuels died without a wife. He did. He died without anyone who loved him. He died with his one night stand. That's what we're saying. Period. What is so
That's the
hard
point.
about
That's
that?
it.
So
That's the point.
I mean, I agree with you. He died
So,
single. But
what-
the question is, was that his fear or was that the women who called into his show's
Nobody
fear?
asked that question but you.
It's him.
Yes,
We
and
don't
that's
give
the
a fuck.
question I asked.
But who cares? Who
He
the fuck cares?
predicted his own
Like,
death.
seriously.
Who cares if he dies alone? Like
He
you guys are making a
predicted
big deal about him dying alone
what he
because
would do,
you
no,
don't
what
want
he
to
would
die
do,
alone.
Archer,
He
he
told
predicted
other
his
people to go
own
do it.
death.
He told other people to go do it. That's what I'm
listen,
talking
Kevin,
about.
no.
He
Kevin
didn't
asked
tell
them
nobody to
what
die
they
alone.
wanted.
Yes, he did.
No, he
Can I say
didn't.
What
something?
is wrong with their ears, bro? What is wrong?
Bro, he
What is wrong?
basically, bro, he
Get a
gave
dog
them
and
a
die.
warning.
Get
There's
a
a
dog
warning.
and get a dog and die alone is exactly that. That's what it is.
So listen. It is getting late. I can't do the, I like my echo chamber as David said. I enjoy the echo chamber if that's what he thinks this is. We're going in circles now and we're being redundant. These guys are hell bent. They want to die on the Godfather Hill, which is great. Like I said before, I don't mind the fanboys. I find delusions I find people speaking for this man very annoying. They're doing tomato. He wasn't really alone. That man was the fuck alone. The last thing he saw was some jump off. Okay, he closed his eyes. The last thing he saw was some jump off. That is fucking dying the fuck alone. A jump off who didn't even know where the fuck she was at or what his address was. Okay, that is fucking dying the fuck alone. If you're in the hospital and you got 4 nurses around you, you died the fuck alone because no one was there that loved you or that you loved. That is dying alone. We are not.
But Red Bulls do give you wings.
We're not relishing in his death. We are just pointing out that he said it repeatedly. He told women, it is not a secret that Kevin Samuels said repeatedly, you're going to die alone or from obesity or from a heart attack. That is what we're pointing out, okay? You're not going to come on here and say, well, women were afraid of it. That's why he said it. No, the motherfucker was chasing the bag, and he said things to get these fanboys to throw money in his fucking super chat. It is not rocket science, mi gente. Nope. It's not rocket science. That's what it was. But I'm not going in circles with the fanboys because they have their own echo chamber. And I'm tired, okay? I want to thank you all. Please don't leave yet because I do want you guys to leave us with some parting words on the topic. I know we lost the topic. It went all the way the fuck around and then back again. What is this guy saying? Oh my God, Lord Almighty, these motherfuckers, they have no shame. Back to the point. I really didn't want to make this Kevin Samuels fanboy arguing against us. We all have our opinions. As you saw, I do let the fanboys up. If this was an echo chamber, I wouldn't let the fanboys up. I let the fanboys up. But once it gets late and they start getting delusional, I get annoyed. I'm sorry. I do get annoyed. It's like talking to children. Like telling children, no, I said, put that down. Why? 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 And after a while, you're like, go in the room, right? It's fucking nerves. And that's how I started feeling. And mama's getting tired. So going back to the topic, again, I welcome all fucking opinions. It's just when it gets late, I get frustrated. The topic was Kevin Samuels disloyal to the race he divided by dying all at the end with a Mexican woman, okay? He caused a lot of division in the Black community, as we know. All right, he was a catalyst to a lot of gender wars, average at best. Well, how do you rate yourself? You're gonna die alone. You're fat. You're obese. Nobody wants you. After over 35, you're a leftover if you're not married. Let's not pretend he didn't say all these things and worse. So after creating all that chaos between Black men and Black women, do you or do you not think, was he disloyal to the race that he divided? Because I feel like he was further division between Black men and Black women. So I just like us to end on that note. And thank you for everyone who participated, even the fanboys, even though y'all work my fucking nerves, participating too. But y'all just, it's late, and when it's late, my nerves are like. Wanna ladies first, por favor. Thank you so much for coming up today, beautiful. What do you think?
Thank you, Jen, for having me. This was a great show. I'll be watching your shows. I love your shows. And he's a true representation of Black men praising whiteness and being like, someone who is going to put whiteness on a pedestal, is going to degrade anything that's Black. So that's not the definition of disloyal. I don't know what is. I mean, he pretty much encouraged us to Black men specifically to date outside the race. He belittled Black women. He made us less significant, and he often made whiteness better than us. So yeah, of course, he was disloyal to our race. He definitely divided the race. And there's clear examples of that. You can see it just in this conversation. But I mean, he's not solely responsible, because that's kind of the thought pattern of a lot of men, Black men specifically. It's just the thought pattern of them. And so it's just showing Black women why we shouldn't support institutions, organizations like that. So I think that's what we should really get from it. Not that a lot of Black women are they're going to go to the next man who's bashing them and making them feel bad about themselves. But I hope that some of us actually caught on and said, I'm not going to support people like this anymore. And so, yes, I think to your question, he definitely did that.
Mr. Rucker in the comments, he says, there was already division in the community before Kevin Samuels. I acknowledge that. I said, yes, he just monetized it. He capitalized off the division. So I'm very much aware that there was division prior to that. He just said, these motherfuckers are dumb. I'm about to get paid off for them. Okay. King Solo, what say you? And thank you for joining us. This is the first time you're on the panel. I enjoyed your commentary.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. First of all, me personally, I don't believe in the color thing. Love who you love. Find somebody that you can build a life with and move on. Okay. Number two, I don't speak to women issues. I'm not a woman. I'm a grown man. Okay. So what men need to do is, if you're going to be the head, the tip of the spear, don't walk around complaining about what women do. Stand up and be a man. Put your 10 toes down and walk on them. And I guarantee you somebody will follow. And stop letting these children into conversations that don't have nothing at all to do with them. You tell them to sit their ass down, try to get some ism, or you tell them to take their ass in the other room because they not ready for this yet. Okay? And that's for the men. And on top of that, when a man is telling you something, check his resume. Whatever he's saying to you, he should be able to show you. And he should be able to show it to you not once, not twice, not 3 times, but for a lifetime. Okay? Because that's what men do. Men stand on their integrity and they keep doing what they doing and what they've been doing.
Okay. Reese, what you got?
All right. So I like this guy at first. I still do, kind of. I just hope that he helped more people than he hurt. It seems like he did. I mean, there are a lot of people out here that hate him, but it seems like there were more that loved. That's all I'm really concerned with is the outcome. What did he leave behind? He upset a lot of people. That's going to always happen. He made some questionable statements that I can easily see how would get a lot of women upset. And I'm not mad at any of them. I'm not even mad at the women that love him. I've actually been on some pro Kevin Samuels panels, but it's unfortunate that he died. The lesson I got out of it is, health. I'm considering quitting smoking because of this. I mean, this is I'm in the danger zone. I'm in a gray area in life, and a lot of people are dropping around me. I mean, I'm Superman, I'm healthy and all of that, but I smoke I rolled 2 or 3 pounds on YouTube. So, I'm concerned about that stuff too. This was a good panel. I enjoyed everybody. I'm not going against anybody. I don't even have an opinion on Kevin Samuels. I just come to talk to y'all and hang out. So as usual, I love all of y'all, man. You'll see. Oh, here's another thing. So I've been working on beats and, editing software, video editing software. If anybody's interested in a fancy intro for their channel, just let me know. All I have to do is go on my channel and leave a comment on the video or something, and I'll get back to you. And I'll have it done before the end of the year. Something real nice. I won't charge you a lot either.
Oh, nice. Okay, plug. Thank you, Reese. We love you back.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Let me actually close out too. First time in the panel, I actually came to hate and didn't end up. But one of the guys actually said it best. I'm not a woman, so there's certain issues that I shouldn't be shatty patty. A lot of these YouTubers are just shatty patty men. The men are more gossipers than the women, bro. So that's one thing we gotta get out of the aspect of who Kevin Samuel was. He wasn't living his truth, and that was sad at the end. I put in the thing, look, women got their rights to vote in the 1920s, and black men got the rights to vote in the 1870s. The new insults, the new black insults, the new black type of the Joe Rogan black men in YouTube, they want to continue pushing this type of agenda of saying, hey, we got the rights first than them, so sometimes they got to level down, and that's Sharia law. That's what Saudi Arabia does to women. That's what Turkey does to women. That's what Afghanistan women are going through right now. So we in 2022, so do we want to go back 100 years, or do we want to, you understand? That's the reality. A lot of men don't like women in position of power. The 2 strongest women right now, if you like it or not, is Nancy Pelosi. And then if this dude has a heart attack, a woman is right there. So, don't think people don't care about this. Don't think people don't feel a threat to their assistant, but it's not a threat. Your mother's a woman, your sister's a woman. They don't come from our ribs. That's just how it is. I'm out.
All right. Thank you, Little Pressure. Haran, you were so patient tonight. There was a lot going on, so thank you for hanging in there. What say you, sir?
Tonight was very educational and at times very entertaining. I will say this. After just listening to everything and just really absorbing everything that was happening, I will say this. Black men need to take that same passion and that same, just visceral, bull-like energy and apply it to taking power in America, to checking the docility in the community when it comes to our socioeconomic standing, to take position and lead instead of just being hell-bent on arguing with women because it's just proven to just be a situation where you're going around in circles. Let me explain what power is at the moment in time, real quick. Power doesn't have to explain anything. The reason why black men constantly have to explain themselves to women because we have no power.
Mm.
And there's no consequence to going against black women. Excuse me, there's no consequence to going against black women. Now, black women, white women, they shut up and listen to white men. Don't get it twisted because there's a consequence attached to it if they choose to go in the other direction. Whatever, movements that they have and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's cool. But at the end of the day, there's a white man heading the council. And they support that. And they put him in power because there's a consequence attached to that. There's no consequence in basically feeding black men prison food. And that's our fault. Stop asking for acknowledgement. Stop asking for people to show you love. Stop asking for a moment of understanding. Take it. And you take it by basically going out there, kicking ass, and bringing results. Results are the currency. Nobody argues with results. This is the reason why I asked repeatedly, can someone give me tangible evidence that Kevin Samuels actually was good for the community? I heard that he was able to help 7 people get married. I was able to help 8. So in that regard, I was more effective than Kevin Samuels. Okay, now if you're gonna have mentors, man, you got to do your homework on these guys. You know what I mean? You gotta check the resume. You have to see things. You have to see through things. You have to ask the right questions. Don't sit there and just live in your bias and hope that you're finding someone that can help pull out a band-aid to pull on your bullet wound. That's exactly what it is. You guys got bullet wounds and you're looking for a band-aid. That's not how it works. So again, in closing, I ask you, gentlemen, what now? What are you going to do? Okay, he's dead. Are you going to sit around? Are you going to take action? Are you going to, in your mind, believe that the way to gaining your power is to argue a woman down and win as many arguments with women as possible? Are you going to go out there and you're going to actually, take action and be a symbol of what you need to be? Not what anybody else needs you to be, what you need to be for yourself. Because at the end of the day, I truly feel that a lot of black men just aren't ready to be in relationships because they have no relationship with themselves.
Last super chat of the night. Let's see what ill doctrine is leaving us with. Kevin Samuels' death demonstrated the wall is undefeated versus black men. Seems like age 60 is kryptonite to black men. Please get healthy and act like you want to live. Hashtag drop that link. Yo, lies. Thank you so much for that super chat, Il Doctrine. I also want to say too, something that we didn't mention, but we mentioned speaking on it earlier, Haran, is stay away from the pussy. The pussy's a killer. If you are climbing and traveling and building wealth, you don't always have to slide up in something wet and warm. Take care of your business, take care of your health, leave them women alone, okay? And he was on a climb, whether we like him or hate him, the dude was on a climb, right? He was about to do some big things. Right. I hear on an episode of Atlanta coming up, whatever. You know what I mean? You don't always have to attach a piece of ass to everything. That girl was very early 30s. He was almost 60. The man could not hang. Okay. He could not hang. So and that is the truth. He couldn't hang. He was like, you know what I mean? He couldn't hang. Maybe she was coming with it. She had that BBL going. She was a lot to handle, as we saw. So focus on your money, focus on your health, focus on building your wealth, okay, generational wealth. That's where you should be. Leave the pussy alone. The pussy will kill you, okay, as we saw. All right. Tristan, after that, what do you have to say? Close this out. Thank you to Arthur. Thank you to David. Even though y'all are like, you know what I mean? Y'all welcome to come back on another topic or subject whenever. Yeah, we don't, it's not always an echo chamber. I like to let up different opinions. We don't always agree here as a family. So yeah, hope you enjoyed your visit here. Tristan, please take us out. Mama's tired.
All right, I won't be long. I heard a lot of loser talk today, and I'm disappointed. I said men have a chance to really change themselves, and they let a man from Oklahoma saying just put on a suit and you'll be better off society. Your community will be better if you put on a suit, or if you tell women that they're average at best. This is where we're at as a whole community, and nobody doesn't see that this is sad. And the reason why I can't respect this is because when he died, nothing has changed. Everybody clocked into work. You're still struggling, so on and so forth. Get your skills up. Do your best to live a good life and be a good person. Because we need to stop asking for submission from women when we don't intend to get married in the first place. And with that, I say everyone, move in love, move in peace, and move in respect.
Yes. All
I
right.
love you. Class dismissed.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out. This was another good one. Y'all are welcome to any panel. On the Block with Jen on Instagram, on the Block with Jen at Gmail. Welcome again, all my new subs. I will see you again. I'll be stirring up some trouble tomorrow. Keep your eyes open. All right, guys. Good night. Love y'all. Peace. Good night. Hit that subscribe, damn it. Good night, guys.